month that Rouhani's chief of staff told them that Trump had asked for meetings with Rouhani 8 times in the past month and was rebuffed. Iranian officials had said they were not interested in one-sided talks under the shadow of a threat, which isn't to say Iran would not accept talks under any circumstances, but that Iran is clearly not interested in following the North Korea model of protracted U.S. threats and ever-increasing sanctions, even when the negotiations are ongoing. Iran expert Trita Parsi expressed doubts that Trump would be able to get a better deal out of Iran, calling many of Trump's demands non-starters. He added that the better deal would need more American concessions to be reached. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com, zencash.com. UPI reports the next time you walk through an airport to catch a flight, the Transportation Security Administration might have an extra eye on you, even if you don't have a criminal record or aren't on any watch list. The agency has acknowledged the existence of its Quiet Skies surveillance program, an added airport security measure designed to watch for potential signs of danger, first reported by the Boston Globe. Michael Bolello, Assistant Administrator for TSA Public Affairs, told UPI the program uses an algorithm to observe travelers, including U.S. citizens, to identify a pattern of travel and passengers whose destinations and activities match intelligence on terrorist threats. This data is collected, reviewed by TSA personnel, and combined with state, local, federal law enforcement information to determine whether the traveler may be a threat to flight crew or passengers. TSA personnel then refer any potential threatening information to federal air marshals. Under the program, the marshals observe passenger activity in airport terminals, including who they talk to and their visits to airport restrooms. They also watch for signs of potential trouble, excessive fidgeting, sweating, use of computers, and whether a passenger waits to board the plane last. Bolello noted TSA agents are trained to look for passengers who may be acting erratically at TSA checkpoints, but that observation ends upon exiting the checkpoint. He said if the person were in the program, the air marshal would then begin observing them on the sterile side of the airport because they are trying to anticipate their next move. They're trying to determine if the person is a threat to aviation security. Bolello said only a very small population of travelers are placed in the program, and it's not intended to watch ordinary Americans. He added the program does not select passengers for observation based on race or religion. Although they are targets of extra scrutiny, the tracked passengers are not suspected of any crimes. Passengers who continue to fly without any adverse incidents for a period of time can be removed from the Quiet Skies program. Quiet Skies has been in use since 2010, and both Congress and the airlines have been aware of the program. Officials said the surveillance program is in use at most of the busiest airports in the United States, including Seattle, Minneapolis, Detroit, Boston, New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Charlotte, Phoenix, Myrtle Beach, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Philadelphia, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
The push to legalize marijuana is gaining momentum. These prescription doobies will do a whole lot more than just give patients a case of the munchies. Proponents are piping up to say that medical marijuana can help patients with some of the chronic illnesses that have been majorly killing their buzz. Unfortunately, 36 U.S. states are still not a kind bud of the legalization argument. But in states that do have the plan, the results have been, well, pretty far out, man. Patients nationwide are bluntly asking state legislatures to finally mellow out so that they and their doctors can work jointly to stop the suffering that's making a hash of their lives.
So it's clearly an issue that means a lot to these patients.
So states shouldn't toke their time with this policy. We'd be upset if patients had to wait a long time.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up whatever you want. Our number here, 855-450. Free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line room over at discord.lrn.fm. You connect to that room. We'll notice you there. We'll join you. And then you'll get on the air with us and sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us, or with you tonight. It's Ian.
Yeah, and Johnson.
And Mark.
So starting out with a little bit of international news, and then both of you guys happen to bring in stories about healthcare costs. So we'll get into that. I'm not sure what the news is, but over in Madrid, there's been a situation apparently developing throughout the recent days where the taxi drivers are on a major strike against Uber and other ride-sharing services. And when I'm talking major, I'm talking about, you've heard about protesters blocking the streets before. Well, that's what's happening in Madrid. Johnson, you can see the photo here in Barcelona, apparently, Madrid, actually, where they are just, it's all cabbies, just completely occupying every lane of the street, basically parked on main drags in the city.
I've never seen so many people in Priuses upset since the Great Straw War of San Francisco.
AFP reporting taxi drivers in Madrid went on strike this weekend in solidarity with Barcelona cabbies protesting against so-called unfair competition from Uber and a company called Cabify, which I presume is another ride-sharing company. The Federation of Madrid Taxis claimed all 15,000 of their drivers in the capital had joined the movement and that it would spread to other cities. Quote, all taxis.
Once you have a business that now incentivizes employees to protest, I think that the value of a protest really deteriorates, right?
Well, I mean, this is the union, I presume, that is the 15,000 strong, the Federation of Madrid Taxis.
Sure.
That sounds like a taxi union.
But do you see how the business, the taxi cab company that owns the medallions or runs the taxi cabs or whatever it is, benefits from this too? If the taxi cab drivers are able to somehow run Uber out of this town, then do they benefit or not?
How would they run Uber? I mean, besides blocking the streets.
Did they do it in Austin?
In Austin, the reason why Uber left was because the government regulated them out of town. They're back now.
Okay. Do you think the taxi cab drivers are protesting? Don't you think
they may get what they want?
Don't you think they're protesting for just that? For the government to run Uber and Lyft out of?
Yeah, I suspect they would love to see that happen.
Okay.
But one thing's for sure: if they're not driving, then the Uber and Lyft people are making a bunch of money driving everybody else around.
Not if the streets are clogged.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Besides clogging some streets, and maybe there's quite a few streets that are being clogged. I don't know.
Okay. So, could this be a large company of large taxi cab company or two that is paying employees a pittance in order to strike so that we can all make more money later?
I don't know.
I mean, it's speculation, but it's not unlikely here because you now have a bunch of big, powerful, moneyed groups, taxi cab companies and taxi cab drivers unions.
Yep.
That benefit from a particular action, and then they can get their stoolies, their stooges to do their job for them, which is the employees. Because a taxi cab driver union is just a few people. That's just basically a company.
15,000 of them in this case.
No, I'm not.
You mean
talking,
the operators of the union?
I'm talking about the top dogs. They can't do anything to stop traffic, nor can the taxi cab company. But the taxi cab drivers can.
Sure.
So they give a little bit of money. In some way or another, they compensate the taxi cab drivers to shut down the whole town. We'll bring this town to its knees. And then they get what they want, and prices for people getting around go up, and poor people suffer.
So according to this story, again, this was published, I think, a couple days ago, so I believe there's an update to the story, but just to give you the basics, Federation Secretary Santiago Vicente told AFP, quote, all taxis have spontaneously and progressively stopped work. Well, is it really spontaneous if it was a centrally organized protest. But regardless, they claim
that's
here,
what they want. That's what they're trying to get across to you. Is this is spontaneous? This is grassroots. The taxi cab drivers just can't put up with this anymore. We're not paying the money so they can continue to survive.
Also, have you ever noticed
they do our dirty work for us?
Have you ever noticed how frequently things that happen spontaneously also happen progressively?
So they say they're paralyzing services in the Capitol, the airport, and around bus and railway stations. So they are definitely targeting high-traffic, cabby kind of areas.
They are taxi cab drivers.
Yep.
They understand where the rides are.
Yep. The main problem, says the Federation Secretary, is the proliferation of VTC licenses. He says there are more and more of them, thousands, and it's unfair competition.
What is a VTC license?
The Federation called on the authorities to enforce legislation under which there should be 30 traditional taxis for every VTC. Today, there are only 5 for every VTC. So the VTC sounds like the kind of license that they're granting to Uber drivers.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So,
and they're complaining because there are 5 taxi cabs for every one Uber
VTC.
driver.
Yep, they want a 30-to-1 ratio.
You guys can't compete with an 80% market share. You suck at your jobs.
Yeah.
You have economic problems, not rider problems.
Well, these people have been, like in the United States when the taxi cab companies were fighting Uber, and they still are, I'm sure, in some cities.
Yep.
But these people are used to a high level of protection from the government.
Absolutely.
And now you've got these upstarts coming in. They're lobbying the government too. You know, Uber's got some money to throw at lawyers and to throw at politicians. They're lobbying the government. They're getting special regulations created just for them, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Well, we'll allow you to have your Uber license, your VTC, but you need to have a 30-to-1 ratio. We're not okay with this 5-to-1 ratio. I mean, this is crazy.
It is just that. It is absolutely insane. This kind of protectionism is... To think that people think that this is some kind of right. It's just amazing.
A right to the business and the taxi
A right to drive
business?
somebody out of business because you work for a particular company. It's disgusting.
Right, and I mean, imagine if they do go through with this, if the city of Barcelona or Madrid or whoever it is that's under pressure here, because it's happening in a couple different places at least, if they do decide, all right, okay, we'll cut it back down to 30-to-1 ratio, then they have to pull people's livelihoods away from them.
Yeah.
Then they would have to go after all those other VTC licenses and randomly or whatever, pull them away from these people who've been providing folks with transportation services.
Also, we noted in when we were in, I think it was Las Vegas, you and I were in Las Vegas. We were picked up at the airport by a taxi cab.
I was never in Vegas.
We were somewhere, maybe it was Austin. You help me out here.
Yeah.
A taxi cab driver picked us up with under Uber or Lyft. They were using the software, and they are, basically were moonlighting.
Huh. I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
No.
So basically, it was a taxi cab.
Yep.
That was doing Uber and Lyft.
Because he was leasing the cab.
Yeah, some situation like that. Yeah.
So taxi drivers.
Basically, a taxi cab driver. I mean, if you're not getting as many calls, a taxi cab driver's life is sitting around
waiting.
Yeah. I did this for a living between radio gigs at one point. And note one thing in the article they don't say is the clean-cut, sober drivers that we have at the taxi company, right? I mean, the idea that taxi cabs are somehow providing you a better service than Uber is frankly laughable. No one wants to talk about consumer protection here.
Right. I mean, because a lot of people will tell you the reason why they go with a ride-sharing service is because when they try calling the cab companies, it's a 2-hour wait.
Yeah.
Or they don't even come.
Right. They say they're going to come and they don't show up.
Or they don't answer the phone.
That happened to me in freezing weather with a wrecked car on the side of the road here in New Hampshire back in 2007.
Before Uber.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they don't have Uber in this. We live
they
out
do
in
now.
The boondocks.
They have Uber now.
Okay.
There's Uber in Keene.
In Keene?
Yep.
Amazing.
I saw the driver the other day. I think there's only one. But anyway, toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. And like Keene, I knew who the guy was when he passed by. 855-450-3733. We got more on this taxi cab strike coming up.
She's such a beautiful little puppy. I mean, we walk around the block and neighbors always say, her hair is so beautiful.
Healthy and shiny and glossy.
DINOVITE.com. Fatty acids, omega-3s, and omega-6s are great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
I would really recommend people starting their puppies on Dinovite before they get into what I would call the misery index. Bad skin, bad ears, bad breath.
Because if they're getting all their vitamins, micronutrients, microbials from the beginning, then you're not going to run into the problems associated with the allergies,
grass, pollen, dust, dirt, fleas, ticks, you name it,
and the itching and shedding down the road.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
Dinovite for life.
This is Ed Lukasevic.
And Cindy Lukasevic.
Inviting you and your pets to Dinovite.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com. Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can bring up what you want. Just dial toll-free. Right here, the number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Zencash is a cryptocurrency, one with some of the best privacy features you can find out there, like zero-knowledge anonymity built right in from the beginning of Zencash. You can choose to send it without the privacy if you want, but that's up to you. Over at zencash.com is where you can go to learn more about Zencash and their brand new supernodes that they've just started up which will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure.
Don't forget the financial benefit to the people who set up supernodes and secure nodes.
That's correct. I'm not sure exactly what that benefit is, but it's some amount of Zen that comes to you.
10% of the block reward.
Cool. Is that for the supernodes?
10% for the supernodes, 10% for the secure nodes.
I see. Okay, thanks for the info there. 13,000 secure nodes, in fact, make up the Zencash network, which makes them one of the strongest networks on the planet as far as cryptocurrencies. And when I say one of the, I mean like top 3. They're up there tied with, I think, Ethereum. There's sort of a neck-and-neck conflict between those two. And there are actually far more secure nodes on Zencash than there are nodes in the Bitcoin system. So go and learn more over at zencash.com. Plus, it was founded by voluntarists, people who actually believe in liberty and understand economics. So really, they've got all the check marks you want to look for when you're looking at a cryptocurrency to invest in. Zencash.com. Go decide for yourself there. As we continue with the story from the AFP over the weekend, taxi cab drivers across, apparently it's not just Madrid and Barcelona, but it is now a nationwide strike where taxi cab drivers are occupying the streets in front of bus stations, nearby airports, and around railway stations, and in the heart of the capital. They are just occupying the streets so nobody can drive down them. And they're complaining about the Uber and other ride-sharing companies having what they call VTC, Tourism Vehicle with Chauffeur licenses. There are apparently allowed to be 5 taxis for every 1 VTC license, but that's not good enough for the taxis. That level of protectionism, that level of favorability towards them being granted by the government is not good enough. They want it to be 30 taxis for 1 VTC license, and they're occupying the streets over it.
And let's not forget that this is the same country that sent out an army of Darth Vaders to kick little old ladies in the head.
That's right.
Down in
Catalonia.
When
for
they tried to secede. Just for voting in a secession election.
Correct.
Just for voting. They won't send out this same army of Darth Vaders to go pull a few of these taxi cab drivers and throw them in jail.
Doesn't seem like it because they're setting up tents.
Blocking a public way.
They're setting up tents. There's an update on this story that they're actually literally camping in the streets now, so it's turned into a complete
the roads don't belong to taxi cab drivers.
They wouldn't have to throw them in jail. They just have to go out there and collect their medallions. You've lost your license. This is illegal. Goodbye.
That would probably be a faster way to do it rather than trying to incarcerate people. Basically, if your medallion's in place, then then the company suffers. Presuming they have medallions. Not every... we know
they have some kind of license.
You could just tell the company at that point, we're going to pull your medallions if these cabs aren't removed from the streets.
The company
within 24 hours.
You wouldn't know necessarily who was violating the rule and who wasn't. There could be a taxi cab driver.
Well, you would tell them, we're going to go out and collect the medallions.
You know who's violating the rule? They all have numbers on the cabs.
And you aren't going to get your medallions back, so you better figure it out.
And purportedly, it's all of them. They're saying it's all 15,000 of the cabbies in Madrid.
That may be the case. But if you send Darth Vader out and he just goes and starts collecting people's licenses, then you don't have to run every taxi cab company out of business. You just have to make examples of something like 0.1% of them.
Oh, too easy.
Taxi drivers cut across
I have
central.
altered the deal. Pray I don't alter it further.
Taxi drivers cut access to central Barcelona Friday after the Spanish government appealed a ruling approved by Barcelona authorities that limited the number of licenses for Uber-style services. Quote, today everything is blocked in Barcelona, the airport, stations, etc., said the head of taxis companies, Luis Lopez. He says, we will not move all night, all day tomorrow until there's a solution, he warned. Violence erupted in Barcelona, where the strike began Wednesday. Drivers threw stones at the vehicles of Uber-style licensed private chauffeurs.
Now we're talking about deadly missile charges.
Yeah. This isn't the only place where Uber drivers have been attacked.
This is what happens when you take away people's right to bear arms.
Some ended up with flat tires as a result. The attacks prompted Uber and Cabify to suspend their services in Barcelona for as long as the taxi strike lasts. So I guess, wow, I figured they'd be raking in the dough. They'd have, with all the demand pent up now with no taxi services, I'd figured that Uber would be going, of course, their policy is you can't arm yourself, Uber. So
right. Uber's a bunch of progressives,
they're just pulling out.
Well, I mean, what do you do in this circumstance? Many Uber drivers just carry anyway, but many taxi cab drivers do too.
The tax prompted, Un Auto, who represents Uber and Cabify, Saturday urged Spanish government to take back control of the streets, saying violent taxi drivers were trying to defend a monopoly. The authorities called for calm on Saturday, and representatives from each side would be meeting this week to find a solution. Well, guess what? They tried something on Monday. Here's an update from elpais.com. Hundreds of taxi drivers today blocked, so this was Tuesday, this was written today, blocked one of Madrid's main thoroughfares, Paseo de la Castellana, in an ongoing protest against what they view as an unfair competition from Uber, following an unsuccessful meeting between...
I wish I'd say what was unfair about Uber's competition.
The fact that they have to have they can only have 5 cabbies to 1 Uber. They want 30 to 1.
But that wouldn't be a problem if Uber was a worse product than what the cab drivers are offering.
They're admitting tacitly that Uber's a better product.
The cab drivers are willing to throw deadly missiles at people in order to protect their terrible product.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know what else to tell people. This is really bad economics.
So apparently,
this is what happens when you let the public decide on economic policy.
So apparently,
the representatives
there was a meeting yesterday. We'll tell you about that, and it didn't go well. But first, Chris is on the line in Evansville, Indiana. And Chris, you're on Free Talk Live, listening to WGBF.
Hey, I'm not calling about what y'all are talking
That's
about.
That's all right.
It's fine.
I listen to you a lot, and the girl on there that does the tax thing.
Yeah, Melanie. She's our Monday night co-host.
Melanie. I just wanted to know how I can get a hold of Melanie. I could really use her help.
Tax.freetalklive.com. So that's our website. It'll forward you right over to her. Tax.freetalklive.com. Was that all you were calling for? Was a recommendation, or did you have something else you wanted to say tonight?
You know what? I call you guys every once in a while, but really tonight that's all I needed.
All right,
no
man.
problem.
Hey, thanks for the call. Appreciate hearing from you.
I sure appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's talk to Milton in Saratoga, New York, listening online via the TuneIn app. Hello, Milton.
Hello.
Hey, you're on the air.
So 2 things. First of all, speaking of economics, happy birthday, Milton Friedman.
Is it today his birthday?
Yeah, today's his birthday. He would have been 106.
Okay.
And then the second thing is about one of Daryl's opponents.
Hold that thought. You're real quiet, so you're getting drowned out. So stand by. We'll bring you back here in a moment. See if we can fix the levels behind the scenes.
July 31st, 1912.
We're going to continue with your calls and thoughts. You can bring up whatever you want. More on the taxi cab, apparently, fights going on in the streets of Spain. 855-450, free like freedom. If you want to join us, it's Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
Angie's List has collected millions of verified reviews of local home service providers, and now they're free for everyone to read. Angie's List makes it easy for you to find top-quality service providers in your area for any type of home project. Search for a great pro in your area, or let Angie's List instantly match you to a few who can do the job. To get the most reviews from real customers, all for free, go to angieslist.com today.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you AMP Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free. You can bring up what you want and take control of the airwaves. Our number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. A lot of libertarians got to know Tom Woods during the Ron Paul campaigns of 2008 and 2012. Maybe you did too, or maybe you're new to Tom Woods. Either way, you should know he's a best-selling author from the New York Times bestseller list, has written over a dozen books, including The Politically Incorrect Guide to American History. And since September of 2013, Tom's been putting out his own show, The Tom Woods Show, every single weekday, which means he's racked up approximately 1,200 episodes so far. Great guests like Ron Paul, Judge Andrew Napolitano, David Stockman, and hundreds more. Topics including war, the Federal Reserve, net neutrality, FDA, Austrian economics, and other subjects of interest to libertarians. You can find The Tom Woods Show online at tomwoods.com or search for Tom Woods Show in your favorite podcatcher. More on the way. Coming up, we'll talk about the health care costs, both current and what might be coming in the future. You guys both have stories related to healthcare tonight, but first we'll finish up the taxi cab strike and occupation going on in the streets of Madrid and Barcelona and elsewhere in Spain right now. As we continue, though, first with your calls. Milton is in New York. You're on Free Talk Live. Sorry, Milton, go ahead with what you were calling about.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear now. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Okay, so I was going to talk about one of Daryl's opponents in the Libertarian primary, Austin Peterson. So,
Daryl Perry is our co-host here. He's not on tonight, but he was a Libertarian candidate for president in the year 2016, and this Austin Peterson guy is a former Republican who I guess has now rejoined the Republican Party after also failing at his bid to get that nomination. Okay, what about him?
So he's running for the Senate right now. He's running in Missouri.
As a Republican,
and I guess,
right?
As a Republican.
Okay.
Yeah. And he apparently, because next Tuesday, a week from today, they're going to have the primary there. and he's in a contentious primary with the Republican Attorney General, Josh Hawley, who's pretty much just like a demonstrous politician. He's like the worst type of politician.
Okay.
And I guess he just got banned. He got a temporary ban from Twitter a week before the election, and I guess the reason why was because he made a Stalin joke.
Who got banned from Twitter?
Austin Peterson.
Okay.
Stalin
Because
joke?
I guess because he posted a GIF of Joseph Stalin, and I guess that got him banned.
Okay. And I'm supposed to care?
Well, I care. I would
wondering what
rather have a better candidate than a worse one.
I'm not in Missouri, and I don't know which one's better or worse.
Well, many of listeners aren't in Keene, but we talk about elections there.
Not really. Only if Daryl is running or something like that, if one of our guys is actually in it. But, I'm not really sure if I know which one of these characters is worse. They're both Republicans. I don't know if Austin...
Their party affiliation doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, it really matters how libertarian they are, doesn't it?
Well, if they're Republicans, they're probably not very libertarian.
That's the yardstick you use here.
What about Ron Paul?
Yeah, well, Ron Paul actually was a libertarian who ran for the Libertarian Party's nomination for president in 1988. And Ron Paul actually has principles, whereas this Austin guy you're talking about, he's noteworthy only because he came out and said the Libertarian Party should get rid of their principle. So the Libertarian Party, for those who are not familiar, because it is a small party, it's one of the larger third parties, but it's still just a third party in the national scene. They have what's called their principle, that a statement of principle or whatever that they members have to sign in order to become a member of the Libertarian Party. It's essentially a paraphrasing of the non-aggression principle, which says, I do not support or advocate the initiation of force to achieve political or social goals. That was one of the things that set the Libertarians apart, and technically still does, from these other political parties that don't have any kind of principle that you have to sign when you join. This guy, Austin Peterson, who you're talking about tonight, he's come out against that principle. He wants the Libertarian Party to get rid of it.
The Libertarian Party forcing people to sign it to be in the Libertarian Party. It's different than
that means you're against the principle.
Doesn't mean that.
If you want to take it away from the political party that's had that at its forefront for 40 years, you are an active person trying to destroy the Libertarian Party. So consider me unconcerned about whatever it is that happens to this guy. He's a piece of trash as far as I'm concerned. But I will say,
Austin Peterson made Ian mad.
I've never even met the guy. I don't really. To me, the Libertarian Party has been long gone for a long time, Mark. Since 2008, when I resigned from the Libertarian Party publicly and got rid of my life membership at that time. That was long before. I think Austin Peterson was probably wearing diapers at that time or close to it. But regardless. The issue here, of course, is Twitter censoring, and I will comment on that, which is to say that, well, if you don't like Twitter censoring, there are other platforms that you can use. In fact, somebody brought to my attention one called Mastodon recently. I don't know if you're familiar with the Mastodon, Johnson, but you're one of your bosses over at Think Penguin.
Austin Peterson is older than you.
Whatever. One of your bosses over at Think Penguin had set up a Mastodon server, which is essentially kind of like a decentralized Twitter. So anybody can run the Mastodon server software on their own server and essentially have whatever rules they want to for their instance of that. And then it can federate together with other Mastodon servers around the globe. So even though you post on server A, that may still mean that your posts can be seen on servers C, B, D, and whichever other ones are out there. So it's a more decentralized method. It's not perfect. Apparently, the Mastodon programmers live in France and Germany, and so on their server they won't let anybody post any hate speech or whatever. So there are still rules on some of the Mastodon servers, but instead of it just being this one monolithic corporation deciding what is going to go and what's going to stay, at least now you have different groups who are running the servers who get to decide what goes and what stays. So I would recommend to anybody who's complaining about Twitter to just go ahead and use a different platform. Your thoughts, Milton?
Yeah, I was just trying to get your thoughts. So I wasn't sure if you had heard about it or what you were thinking. since he was Daryl's opponent, and you guys know Daryl pretty well.
I couldn't tell you what the other opponents of Daryl are doing today either, except for John McAfee, who is pretty awesome.
In my opinion, I will take any candidate who is more pro-liberty than the other candidates. So in a primary where somebody takes the non-aggression principle and comes out 50% versus a candidate who comes out 80%. Yeah, I support the candidate who comes out at 80%. And I would suspect Austin Peterson probably comes out 80% or higher.
I agree.
And I think that Austin Peterson is probably is very likely a much better candidate than whoever is running.
Could be,
but
I have no idea.
I
don't care.
It's hard for Ian to get past being libertarian mad at somebody, and he did about the worst thing you could do to Ian, which was say, "Hi, I don't like the non-aggression principle." And
yeah, because that means you're not a libertarian. So I really don't care about what you do, unless you're coming in trying to attack people who do care about the non-aggression principle. So it's one thing if you're
Which is exactly what he did.
Right. If it's one thing if you're just a Republican over there doing your Republican thing and saying you don't believe in peace and you don't believe in non-aggression. Okay, well that's what we expect out of Republicans and Democrats. But if you're coming into the Libertarian Party and trying to get rid of it, I would be pretty upset if they did that here in New Hampshire with
There's
the New Hampshire
nothing
Libertarian
new
Party.
about the small government versus radical party. Radical caucus conversation going on within the Libertarian Party. It's not like Austin Peterson rolled in and said, hey, you know what? We could make the party more viable by getting rid of the non-aggression principle. This conversation has
he's
been
just the latest advocate of that particular position.
One of the many advocates.
But people pay attention to this guy for some reason, and I'm not sure what it is.
He's a good marketer.
Thanks for the call tonight, Milton. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE. You mean he's good at marketing himself?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what good is he? What good is he to the liberty movement if he's marketing against the non-aggression principle? That is a saboteur. 855-450-FREE. That's the toll-free number.
He's not in the Libertarian Party. I get his emails all the time. He's for the small government.
He was in the Libertarian Party, and he advocated against the non-aggression principle. He is a problem. There's more coming up here in moments. You can bring up whatever you want. If you believe in peace, I mean, if you believe in violence and aggression, then you should support this guy. There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agorist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agoristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agorist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agoristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agoristhosting.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free here, 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype. The Skype username is LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, Ian here.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
And don't forget, you can enjoy the Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm. There are people in our chat rooms right now talking about a variety of different subjects. They're there 24 hours a day. Somebody is there doing something, sometimes posting offensive, not safe for work things. We do have not safe for work channels on there. And so go and check it out over at discord.lrn.fm, and you can get interactive there. And it's also another way you can call into the show, the very top chat room, because there's voice chat and then there's text chat rooms. The top voice chat room in the server is our Discord on-air call-in line room. So you're welcome to use that. Maybe you want to talk about the taxi cab strike that is going on in and across Spain. According to El País, the latest news is that they had a meeting. The strike began late last week and continued. I think it started in Barcelona, and then it sparked off on Saturday. So it started last week in Barcelona and then started in Madrid on Saturday of this weekend. Talks began apparently in a 4-hour meeting on Monday. Taxi representatives said they're not satisfied with the government's offer to transfer powers over licensing to regional governments, and said this would simply extend the problem to 17 regions rather than fix it. So the government sounds like they want to decentralize control over the taxi cab and taxi ride-sharing industries, and the taxi companies say, no, we'd prefer you go ahead and keep the central power and control because we've been benefiting for all these decades from it. We wouldn't like that to change.
People in cartels like their cartels and like their power centralized because it's easier to control things. That's why I believe that Washington, D.C. will never divest itself of power and that federalism has failed.
Spanish authorities this week launched a series of meetings in a bid to end the ongoing strikes in Barcelona, Madrid, and other cities over so-called unfair competition from the ride-hailing services like Uber or Cabify. Thousands of passengers and tourists have felt the effects of the strikes, which come in the middle of peak tourist season in Spain. Taxi representatives said they hope for a better proposal when they go back to the Public Works Ministry to resume talks. After that, it will be up to the taxi sector assemblies to decide whether the ongoing nationwide strikes are called off or not. And according to El País in a story updated this afternoon, hundreds of drivers blocked one of the main thoroughfares in Madrid in an ongoing protest, including camping. They've got their tents that they're breaking out in the streets following an unsuccessful meeting between taxi representatives and government officials yesterday. They decided to maintain their nationwide stoppages. Last night, dozens of drivers in Madrid decided to camp out, and on Tuesday morning, there was only one free lane going each direction on the Paseo de la Castellana, as well as the bus lane. The street protest mirrors similar demonstrations in Barcelona, where around 1,500 drivers have spent 4 straight nights in tents on the Gran Via and Paseo de Gracia parkways. The action comes during peak tourist season. Quote, "We're not budging from here until this week's meetings are over. They have to see that we're still on the streets and that the pressure's going to keep up. This sector is not going home with a piece of candy," said Luis Lopez, spokesperson for the National Taxi Association. On Monday, taxi drivers were unconvinced.
If they got a piece of candy, it'd be one thing too many.
On Monday, taxi drivers were unconvinced by the so-called insufficient and vague measures proposed by the Public Works Ministry to limit the number of operating licenses that may be awarded to the ride-hailing services. These companies operate under VTC permits. The chauffeured rental vehicle is what that stands for. And the taxi sector wants to enforce the legislation that says that may only be one VTC awarded for every 30 licenses. Right now, it's 1 for 5. On Tuesday, that's today, State Secretary for Infrastructure, Transportation, and Housing, Pedro Sora, will meet with the VTC associations to hear their demands. On Wednesday, there's a scheduled meeting of the National Transportation Conference, which will also address the escalating confrontation, which, as we described earlier in the hour, involves people throwing rocks, taxi drivers specifically, throwing things at the poor innocent Uber drivers
and their passengers.
Right. Eduardo Martin, president of UnAuto, the association that represents VTC companies, described the taxi drivers' attitude as, quote, extortion. It says they're doing this because they, quote, don't want competition.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
UnAuto has also reported acts of violence against drivers of ride-hailing companies and damage to their vehicles. The simmering conflict between taxi drivers and ride-hailing services blew up last week in Barcelona, where the mayor attempted to set limits on VTC operations.
So Barcelona, that is in Catalonia,
That's
right?
in Catalonia.
Yeah,
correct.
See, this is one of the reasons it's difficult for me to get really excited about Catalonia's independence.
Because they're socialists.
They really are just a troop of pinkos.
Yep, that's true. But everybody should be able to have secession if that's what they want.
It's true. I mean, let the pinkos go over there and play by themselves. The funniest thing about it is that they're socialists, but they don't want to share their money with the rest of Spain. So it's like, yeah, we want socialism for us who are wealthier in Catalonia.
That's right.
This is, it's the kind of populist movement that will work because
it almost did.
Yeah, well, it's not over yet. The fat ladies has not yet sung.
The mayor's initiative would have forced VTC drivers to obtain a second license, and these new permits would have reduced the number of VTC vehicles in the Barcelona metropolitan area to 400, down from the current 1,035. So that's how they were going to do it, because that was my question earlier, was are they just going to go in and randomly decide to pull these VTC licenses from these individuals who are trying to make money to feed their families? That's not going to look good if they do that.
Yes, they are.
Well, no, the way they're doing it is they're creating a second license. So, okay, you have this first VTC license. Now you need to get this other one. So if you want to keep operating, you just jump through these extra hoops, which we know that some of you won't be able to jump through, and that's how we're going to get rid of you. But the National Markets and Competition Commission, or the CNMC, challenged the decision, and Catalonia's regional high court placed the regulations on hold on the basis that they were encroaching on powers that legally fall to the Spanish state. So this is actually an argument in favor of Catalonia's secession here. You've got the national Spanish government coming in, stopping this restriction against the Ubers. And so now, because the national government's saying, you can't do that, now the taxi cab guys are angry and they're occupying the streets.
Yeah, it's really, really, really hard for me to advocate for your autonomy so that you can be more tyrannical to people.
That's basically what it's all about. There are currently 9,366 VTC vehicles and 65,000 taxi cabs operating in Spain, representing a 1-to-7 ratio, and this is a much higher than the 1-to-30 ratio established by a 2015 decree on transportation. There are a further 10,000 VTC licenses slowly going onto the market that were issued between 2009 and 2013. So this is ongoing. You've got people literally camped out in the streets. Photos of entire streets just full of the same color taxi cab.
Priuses.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I feel bad for anybody trying to get around. I mean, it would be interesting to talk to the people of the city and ask them, what are you doing? Because the earlier story said Uber had pulled out of the city because their drivers are being attacked. So somebody's getting to work somehow. Is it all jitney cabs that are in operation right now? For listeners that aren't familiar, the jitney cab is the unlicensed taxi.
Maybe they're all using Cell 411.
I think we would have heard about that because we know the guy who programs that. But
so if these taxis are all there, I'm just wondering, they're all Priuses, you said?
They look like it.
So I'm wondering if you could just wire up all their batteries, right, in series, and then connect them all in a loop, and then they'd all catch fire simultaneously.
Well, it'd take a lot of wiring, and
yeah, you'd have to pop all those trunks somehow.
Yeah, that's true.
Not going to happen.
But it's an interesting situation that is pretty outrageous. And if you're over in Spain and you want to kind of, I don't know, if you speak English and you want to relay to us what it's like in the streets, how are people getting around? Is it all via public transportation? They said that on this one busy street, one of the main drags in Madrid, that they have occupied all but one lane. So it sounds like they are allowing some traffic to go through. Maybe that's how they're avoiding getting arrested or something like that. But still, if you did this in the United States, you'd get arrested for disorderly conduct.
Yeah, you'd have to worry about
presumably.
If you let just one lane go, in all likelihood in the United States, you'd deal with the police. If you block the entire traffic, somebody's going to run you over.
Yeah, so apparently things are going slow, but ultimately there's some sort of flow. But ultimately, how are people getting from to and from work who don't have their own car? I mean, are the city buses just loaded to the gills with riders? I would be curious to know more about it. We'll try to keep our eyes on the story. If you see any developments that we don't mention, feel free to jump in here and share them with us. The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Coming up, Johnson, you've got a story about healthcare costs today and how out of control they are, I presume.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, Mark, you've got a story about what healthcare costs might be like if the government went to a one-size-fits-all or one provider sold, universal healthcare.
Yeah.
There's some new terminology for it, Medicare for All. Is that what they're using now?
It's not particularly new, but yes.
The first time I've heard of it was yesterday.
Everybody gets healthcare.
Yeah, so we'll hear from Bernie maybe as well. 855-450-FREE, Hour 2 next, 855-450-3733. It'll be crappy healthcare, but you'll get it eventually.
Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads, often listed as an Amazon choice.
Why take another pill?
Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap, a complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay, or call us 253-678-1361.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, July 31st, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.49 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,220 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $27, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,877. Antiwar.com reports addressing media questions on Monday. President Donald Trump announced that he is willing to meet with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani if the Iranians are willing to do so. He said they could meet anytime with no preconditions. The comments come after a week of conflicting statements on Iran, many from Trump himself. This time last week, Trump was threatening Iran with consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered, but then said he was willing to make a deal just days later. This was followed by reports as recently as Sunday that the U.S. is preparing to attack Iran. Trump said he views this meeting as generally positive, saying one with Rouhani would be good for the country, good for them, good for us, and good for the world. Iran has not, as of Monday evening, responded to Trump's comments. Iranian state media, however, had reported earlier in the month that Rouhani's chief of staff told them that Trump had asked for meetings with Rouhani 8 times in the past month and was rebuffed. Iranian officials had said they were not interested in one-sided talks under the shadow of a threat, which isn't to say Iran would not accept talks under any circumstances, but that Iran is clearly not interested in following the North Korea model of protracted U.S. threats and ever-increasing sanctions, even when the negotiations are ongoing. Iran expert Trita Parsi expressed doubts that Trump would be able to get a better deal out of Iran, calling many of Trump's demands non-starters. He added that the better deal would need more American concessions to be reached. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Zencash.com. UPI reports the next time you walk through an airport to catch a flight, the Transportation Security Administration might have an extra eye on you, even if you don't have a criminal record or aren't on any watch list. The agency has acknowledged the existence of its Quiet Skies surveillance program, an added airport security measure designed to watch for potential signs of danger, first reported by the Boston Globe. Michael Bolello, Assistant Administrator for TSA Public Affairs, told UPI the program uses an algorithm to observe travelers, including U.S. citizens, to identify a pattern of travel and passengers whose destinations and activities match intelligence on terrorist threats. This data is collected, reviewed by TSA personnel, and combined with state, local, federal law enforcement information to determine whether the traveler may be a threat to flight crew or passengers. TSA personnel then refer any potential threatening information to federal air marshals. Under the program, the marshals observe passenger activity in airport terminals, including who they talk to and their visits to airport restrooms. They also watch for signs of potential trouble, excessive fidgeting, sweating, use of computers, and whether a passenger waits to board the plane last. Bolello noted TSA agents are trained to look for passengers who may be acting erratically at TSA checkpoints, but that observation ends upon exiting the checkpoint. He said if the person were in the program, the air marshal would then begin observing them on the sterile side of the airport because they are trying to anticipate their next move. They're trying to determine if the person is a threat to aviation security. Bolello said only a very small population of travelers are placed in the program, and it's not intended to watch ordinary Americans. He added the program does not select passengers for observation based on race or religion. Although they are targets of extra scrutiny, the tracked passengers are not suspected of any crimes. Passengers who continue to fly without any adverse incidents for a period of time can be removed from the Quiet Skies program. Quiet Skies has been in use since 2010, and both Congress and the airlines have been aware of the program. Officials said the surveillance program is in use at most of the busiest airports in the United States, including Seattle, Minneapolis, Detroit, Boston, New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Charlotte, Phoenix, Myrtle Beach, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Philadelphia, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and Numery supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
According to a groundbreaking new study published Thursday in the New England Journal of Medicine, psychologists have discovered that the average person, while ostensibly appearing to be normal and mentally sound in their day-to-day lives, immediately becomes a deranged psychotic when alone at home.
We observed hundreds of subjects with successful careers, numerous friends, and loving families. Perfectly normal. But as soon as they were at their homes by themselves, they began presenting behavior consistent with those suffering from dementia, schizophrenia, and various other acute mental illnesses.
Researchers illustrated the study's findings with footage of 29-year-old test subject Brian Temple, who, despite having a steady job and maintaining an ordinary social life, exhibited increasingly erratic and unstable activity from the moment he was alone in his apartment, including dancing in his kitchen to no music whatsoever. Making grotesque faces in the mirror for extended periods of time, and seemingly having conversations with no one in particular.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll-free here and take control of the airwaves. Toll-free number 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. As we launch into the second hour of the show, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
So, healthcare is a topic that both of you guys brought in stories independently of one another, and they're not the same. Johnson, you've got one about today, costs now of the healthcare system in the United States. And Mark, you've got a story about the costs looming on the potential horizon. So we can talk about all that here. But
I basically, to break it down, so my things, and I brought in a video corollary, I guess, to the story I have here from the New York Times. And the video I have is from this, I guess it's his own show called Adam Ruins Everything.
Okay.
This was an internet show, I think, by College Humor.
That
then
exactly.
got picked up and syndicated, and I think now Cracked. Then Cracked got him, and then he has an actual television show or something.
Well, he covers issues very, very well for some of these things, and he covers.
There was one I didn't like, but I'm supposed to, right? Like at some point or another.
He's probably not a libertarian.
Oh, it's hard to be fiercely logical and not be a libertarian.
Yeah, I would say he's borderline, if anything, or maybe he's a Libertarian Party member.
Okay.
if not a
because he doesn't blame the politicians here in the healthcare
exactly,
piece.
Which I found interesting, but that's the only part of this video that I really take issue with.
Really, okay,
and can explain, and combined with us explaining that part that he gets wrong, it really just will boil down. I think. This show, if you're listening to this episode of Free Talk Live, you're going to get the very, very complete argument for why the healthcare system sucks exactly.
Do you want to play this video first before you preface anything else here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from Adam Ruins Anything. It's on the True
Everything.
TV. Excuse me, Adam Ruins Everything on the True TV YouTube channel. This one is the episode called "The Real Reason Hospitals Are So Expensive." And it begins with him following an Asian lady into what appears to be a hospital waiting room.
Of course I want as much medical care as possible. What could be the downside?
Oh, there are a ton. For starters, how about the fact that this place rips off folks like you every day?
Whatever. I know the hospital is expensive, but it is worth it if I get the best treatment.
No, it isn't. American healthcare is not the best in the world, but despite that, we spend more per person annually on healthcare than any other developed nation. And a big part of the reason for that is that American hospitals overcharge patients massively. This neck brace is worth $20, but the hospital charged him $154. This IV bag costs less than $1, but she was charged $137. These are real prices, folks.
Hold up. Wildly inflated healthcare costs? This sounds like the work of politicians to me.
It is. It is indeed, but they're going to say here in just a moment that it's not.
Trump aid? McConnell meds? What did you do?
I'm not a politician. I'm just a boring white guy. Why does this keep happening?
Some dude in a suit.
Sorry, Rachel, but this time it's not the politician's fault. The problem starts with something called the Charge Master. The Charge Master is a secret document full of insane prices.
So the thing that they're glazing over here, right, is, and they're going to explain all the details of how the healthcare system is, how they're doing all the charging, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying, well, the politicians aren't responsible for this. Well, they are, and that's the part we'll get to next. But essentially, they just moved on. They're like, politicians aren't responsible for this.
Well,
and then they move on to explain how the system is terrible. Well, we'll get to how the politicians are responsible for what they're about to explain.
Yeah.
Right. If you steadily salt soil over time and make it too salty for regular plants to grow, plants that can handle salty soil will grow. If you add acidic mixture to a soil, make it somewhat acidic, then plants that can handle acid will grow. If politicians change the particular economic atmosphere in a particular sector, change the rules, then companies that can handle that will grow.
And they'll look like this.
If you corrupt the economics in a particular sector, corrupt businesses will grow. Corrupt practices will work. I believe that about the same time that the United States government had a 90% income tax bracket was when so you've got a 90% income tax bracket. You want to get for the highest of earners. You want to bring in the best talent, but they want to get better pay. If you're going to pay them a dime for every dollar that you're paying them, they only get a dime for every dollar you're paying, then they'd rather just spend the time on the golf course than coming in and working for that kind of money.
Right.
So companies figure out ways to get around it. Let's give you a company car. Let's give you health insurance. Let's pay for your dental, your optical. They do all this stuff. The stuff that we think about now as perks didn't really exist prior to that. So, as a result, this is trickle-down economics. The way it sort of works is, well, my boss got health insurance. Now we, labor, we want health insurance. All right, we'll give you health insurance. Sure, whatever. And then it becomes matter of course where employers have to provide health insurance. When somebody has health insurance that covers everything,
it's expensive.
Well, they don't look at it they don't look at the economics the same way. If you're choosing to take an elective surgery or elective medical procedure, you're going to look at the cost very severely because you've got to pay for it.
There's a lot more to it than just the removal of the market signals.
Okay.
A lot more.
Shall I continue?
Sure.
That hospitals use to charge us whatever they want. Let's go on a trip through the history of medical billing.
Wow, I'd rather not.
Okay, so before we do that, so this ChargeMaster thing, the secret, it's a secret document the hospitals are using. Well, why does this exist in the first place?
Well,
because
let's not go there yet because we're not there yet.
Well, there's a limited supply of hospitals, number one.
That's true.
So there's not even true market competition in this field at all.
Are hospitals limited by
the government?
Government?
Yeah, absolutely.
How so?
You got to ask permission to build one.
Zoning.
And yeah, zoning's going to say, nope, we already have enough hospitals in this city or whatever. Here we go. And of course, if there was no restriction on the number of doctors, which we also know is restricted by the AMA, then there might be a demand for more hospitals to be created to, hold the more doctors that might be willing to exist if they didn't have all these restrictions keeping them out of the market in the first place. So what would that do to prices? Well, we know competition brings prices down.
100 years ago, hospital pricing was pretty simple.
We take the cost of providing care and add a little on top to make a profit. One amputation costs us $5, so we'll charge you $6.50.
But after the rise of insurance companies, hospital billing got complicated.
The rise of insurance companies. That's what I'm talking about. It's not that insurance companies didn't exist before hospitals or anything like that. It's the fact that the government removed the market signals and send people off to insurance companies.
They force people to get these insurance companies, which of course drives costs up because the insurance companies end up, paying top dollar for a lot of these things because the hospitals can get away with billing them.
The best example I can give when it comes to removing market signals from people's medical costs is, for those of you who don't know, I spent some time in prison, and in prison, they had medical call. At Medical Call, anybody who didn't want to go to work that day could go and sit and claim to have the sniffles or, an itch or whatever it was that their little problem was, and then they would usually handle them based on the importance of whatever the call was.
Doc, I'm pretty sure I have hypochondria.
So that means the people with the silliest things sat around and did nothing the longest time. Now, I had a job where it was important for me to get to work, and I cared about my job and all that stuff, so I did it. However, there are people whose job it was to carry around a number 10 bean can and pick up cigarette butts and put it in the put it in the can.
Yeah,
and
they
didn't have a lot of pride in their work.
Yeah.
Not a surprise, but as a result, they ended up staying on that squad, mind you. So, this is what happened over and over and over again is people who didn't have to pay for the medical call. It's easier than working.
We got more coming up here. We're not even halfway done with Adam Ruins Everything on hospitals. He's going to go back into what they say is the history. And so we'll get into that coming up here in moments. The toll-free number tonight is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And also you can join us on Skype. Skype username here is LRN.FM, or hop into the Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live.
This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Talking about healthcare and the just absolutely excessive costs. Where did they come from? Well, Adam Ruins Everything has some opinions, which we're kind of analyzing as we go through it here. And then, Johnson, you've got a related story to follow this up with. And you can, of course, call in toll-free and share whatever's on your mind. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM. And there's our Discord on-air call-in line room as well. So go to discord.lrn.fm if you want to jump in there and get on the air with us. Also, you need to know about Bitcoin.com. Maybe you're new to cryptocurrency. Well, now might be a good time to get involved. Prices have been coming down. Bitcoin Cash, Dash, a bunch of these things are on the way down, it seems like. When will the bottom of the pit be here? We don't know. But you want to go learn more about cryptocurrency? Go now to Bitcoin.com and learn the basics.
You want a prediction based on my experience in the crypto market over the course of, well, most of the crypto market?
Okay, so basically an opinion just like everybody else's. Go ahead.
It's an opinion.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, like, you know, when somebody puts out an article, some financial expert puts out an article.
Bitcoin is dead.
Bitcoin to 50,000 by the end of the year, or Bitcoin worthless by the end of the year. People give that credence. You know, you and I
don't give it credence.
I have been in the Bitcoin sphere for some time. Now, I'm not going to tell you when, because I don't know. But I do believe that you're going to see Bitcoin, BTC prices, go parabolic again. They've done it over and over again. They went parabolic from $0 to $30. Parabolic again from, help me out here, Ian, wasn't it up to 222?
I don't know.
From one, it fell down to $1, and then
I remember the one where it went up to like 1,100.
222, and then it fell down to $70, and then went up to 1,100, and then fell down to $200, and then went parabolic up to 19,000, and then it fell down to something like 5,500 or thereabouts.
Right.
And
so it went parabolic up to 19,000, and it fell to about $5,000, and now it's at about 7,700 today or something like that.
Right. And I don't know whether it's gonna creep down below $5,000. I cannot tell you that.
It's kind of been going between about $6,000 and 9 or 8 over the last 6 months, basically.
Yep. But at some point, I believe that it's going to once again shoot back up. And when it goes, my guess is that it's going to go well into the 5 figures.
So like 30, 50,000, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, I'm thinking like 50, 60, 70, $80,000.
That would be amazing.
It would be amazing, but it was amazing when it hit 19.
Sure was.
Right?
Yeah.
It was amazing when it hit 1,100. It was amazing when it hit 250. It was amazing when it hit $30.
Right.
All of these things were amazing. And at the time, I said, if a Bitcoin is worth $1, it's worth $1 million, because it solves so many problems. Now, there have been some changes in the crypto sphere since then, but at this point, BTC is still the sort of the gatekeeper.
Tomorrow is.
However, I'm still getting to something. Yeah. These other altcoins, as they're known, BCH, Bitcoin Cash, and Dash, and Zencash, and a whole variety of them out there. They seem to. When Bitcoin goes down, they go down further. When Bitcoin goes up, they go up higher. So those are the patterns I've noticed, and that's how I made, I made enough to live on for during the winter months when Bitcoin was, doing its parabolic stuff just by trading in altcoins. Then it's really kind of died off in the last 3 months or so.
Okay, so you want to go learn more about it, go to Bitcoin.com. You can do that there. Now, let's get back into healthcare talk. The show is Adam Ruins Everything. He is going into an explanation as to why he says hospital prices are so high. He claims it's not the politicians' fault, but we quibble with that argument here on Free Talk Live because the politicians have teamed up with the existing hospitals and the doctors' monopoly, or the doctor cartel, the AMA, to restrict competition, to prohibit people from coming into that business, to prohibit nurses from doing the very same things that they can do. They can do as a doctor. They're in many cases able to do the exact same things that doctors are, but they can't legally do them as a doctor without having a doctor in the room.
I'm a medical conspiracy theorist. I believe that government intervention in the medical sphere, if not intended by every politician that ever voted for it, and every bureaucrat that ever participated in it, was intended by enough of them that the government, participation, government collusion was going to drive up pricing to the point that people would demand to have the government come and take over the distribution to socialize medicine, the distribution of medicine, single payer, Medicare for all, whatever it is. And it may be at this point that the only politically expedient way to solve this problem is in fact socialism. Because
how's that going to solve anything?
Well, all around the world, people are getting provided medical care through socialism. Now,
eventually, if they decide to approve you and you're young enough and you're not an old person, because if you're old and they decide you don't need the care, they'd rather let you die, they'll just let you die, or they'll put you on a long waiting list and then you'll go find the care elsewhere if you're urgently needing it, like medical tourism to Austria or something like that.
People are dying in the United States for lack of medical care. They're being refused medical care because they don't have the money.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that you could just go into any old hospital and they'd take care of you.
It depends on the procedures, but if you're talking about things like cancer and heart disease and stuff like that, you might get emergency care, but you won't get palliative care.
I see.
So, yes, the marketplace, somebody is always going to deny care to someone. If it's based on price or based on other criteria that the government comes up with, there's going to be death panels. I'm not advocating for socialized medicine. I can tell you many of the problems that will occur. I'm just saying that the only political escape route from what we have today, I believe to be socialized medicine.
Well, because no politician is going to ever propose ending government involvement in healthcare.
Right. To say that,
But to call socialized medicine an escape route, I mean, that's just escaping down the drain, ultimately, because it's going to get worse.
The history of humans is
a
history of rise and fall of the state. I mean, over and over and over again. So
are you saying advocate for socialized medicine so it can be really bad and people will turn against it?
You never advocate for tyranny, and that's what socialized medicine going to be.
But you just said that's the escape route. That's the way to get out of this.
The only politically expedient escape route. And remember,
meaning the only thing that somebody would get elected on?
Right. Politicians are the ones who make the policy. And what you can certainly get elected by saying, how about free college, kids? How about free medical care, parents?
That's
how
what
about
they're doing.
Free? Well, and then the other politician says, well, now, hey, how about a little less than free? How about that? And that's all we have going on.
Yeah, that's a good point. So here's the story here.
Insurance companies, hospital billing got complicated, in part because these gigantic corporations demanded gigantic discounts.
We send you thousands of patients every day, so we want half off all your prices.
We can't afford that.
So to please these powerful insurance companies, hospitals cooked up a plan.
I've got it. We'll make up a really high fake price and then give you a discount off that.
Hey, as long as I get to tell my boss we got it cheaper.
I've seen this.
Yes.
I have seen this at some point. All right, more coming up here in moments. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Well, that is the best way to make it look like you're giving a discount is raise your prices first, then add the discount to it. So there's more coming up here in moments. You can bring up what you want. We'll continue with Adam Ruins Everything, but you're also welcome to bring up whatever's on your mind. 855-450-FREE is our toll-free number, 855-450-3733.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Citing their effortless physical strength, affability, and notable base tans, reports from the country's pools, lakes, and beaches have indicated that once again, the nation's Blakes coasted effortlessly through this year's seasonal lifeguard tryouts. Onion reporters spoke with Cincinnati Centennial Pool's manager, Charles Walker, about the exceptional performance of his Blakes.
We always see strong performances from Blakes, but this year's crop did especially well. Blake D did the 25-yard underwater swim in 86 seconds. Blake S and Blake C both carried subjects 40 yards without breaking a sweat.
In addition to qualifying as pool managers and certified aquatics instructors, the nation's Blakes significantly outshined the nation's stewards in swimming, performing CPR, diving, and glistening.
I'm definitely looking forward to being a lifeguard this summer. I heard the test was kind of hard, but it was actually kind of easy.
Our Kaylas are looking pretty strong too. As long as we have a few Blakes and Kaylas out there on the weekends, we'll be set.
This is the Onion News Network.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free, take control of the airwaves here, bring up whatever you want. We got more on the way on healthcare costs. Why are they so high? And what can be done about it? With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Johnson.
And Mark.
I want you to know about AnyPay, especially if you are a person who's into cryptocurrency and you're involved in retail business. So you've got maybe a shop some kind of physical location where you provide a product or a service to customer base, and you want to know how to accept cryptocurrency at the point of sale. You got to register. You've got a tablet. Well, you're already halfway there. You can go to anypay.global, get signed up. It is free to sign up. It's super easy. There's no hoops to jump through. Create a username and password. You're in the system. You drop your addresses for your crypto wallet, you as the owner or manager or whatever, to go to the owner, and you put your addresses into the system. You download the app onto your tablet, and you're good to go. I mean, it is that simple to get signed up and get started with AnyPay, and it'll allow you to accept Bitcoin BTC, Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Litecoin, Dogecoin, as well as I think they just added Zcash to the system over at AnyPay. So several of some of the top cryptocurrencies out there can be yours to accept at the point of sale because of anypay.global. Just go there. It's super easy to get started. Way easier than you think. anypay.global. As we go to your calls and thoughts, Andrew is in Virginia watching us on YouTube. Go ahead, Andrew.
Hello. So I was just doing some Googling, and I found this book by this guy from the 60s called Jay Sakai. Well, the book was published in the 80s. It's called Settlers. I was wondering, did you ever heard of it?
I've not.
All right. I started reading it. It's pretty good. It's about American history, and I think it's pretty neat. I think y'all should definitely check it out.
Okay, why? What's so interesting about it?
It's the subscript for the title is the mythology of the white proletariat. So it basically it's going over a demystification of American history. Because you go to school and they tell you the Pilgrims came here and then they sat down and with the Native Americans and had a good old time.
Mm-hmm.
But if you actually look into American history, we know those that have read Settlers and spent time studying American history know that in reality, it's not like that.
Sure, there was a bloody slaughter in a lot of places.
Looks like it's available on PDF for free.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it is at readsettlers.org.
So what's the is there like a political viewpoint of the author that you could sort of ascertain as you're looking at it?
It's hard. Jay Sakai is a guy, kind of a rogue guy. He's kind of hard to pin down. He doesn't set any real tendency. He disavows Stalin USSR because I think he was affiliated with the New Left back in the 60s.
Okay.
He was one of them student radicals, the big anti-war protests and all that.
Gotcha.
I remember him.
Those people who protested the man and then became the man. Those guys.
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him in a while, but I don't think he's become the man. Not like Chomsky.
Okay, gotcha. Hey, Andrew, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you.
I definitely may read it, just cover why this book sounds intensely stupid. Written by activists with decades of experience in organizing grassroots anti-capitalist struggles against white supremacy, the book established itself as an essential reference point for revolutionary nationalists and dissident currents within the Marxist, Leninist, and anarchist movements.
So they're leftists.
Yeah. And anybody who's anti-capitalist, in my mind, is an idiot.
Well, so you're defining capitalism in a particular way. And let's not forget that people on the left define capitalism differently than libertarians do. So, the things, the briefly what I've read here doesn't sound
Even if we were
terrible.
to go with corporatism as we currently have it, we've got the best economic system that this planet has ever seen.
Understood, but colonialism, you would say, is a real problem, right?
I guess.
Okay, well, this book is about colonial America and, the exploitation of people of color during that time frame.
Yeah.
That in and of itself, that's not capitalism. That's something else. That's mercantilism.
I just have a hard time also believing in the truthfulness of a lot of claims that are made, because I see how the left frames things in modern times. And so now I kind of find myself retroactively questioning a lot of things from the past.
Is libertarianism a leftist or a right-wing philosophy?
I don't really think it's either.
Well, if you have a problem with
Depends
leftists,
on your perspective.
It sounds like you're taking the side of right-wingers.
I have
That's
a problem
what it sounds
with
to people.
leftist economics. I think they're morons.
Yeah, I would
leftist
agree
social
with you.
policy. I used to think that I like the compassion of leftist social policy, but now I think leftist social policy is moronic. Unfortunately,
because it's based a lot around their economics.
Well, yeah, that and it's also become It's become a religion, and I'm always against all religions. And the anti-science on the left now bothers me just as much as anti-science on the right ever has.
Well, I would agree with you that right-wing philosophy, when it comes to economics, I find their lies to be more palatable than the Democrats' supposed truths when it comes to economics. I don't believe the right has any intention of doing the things that they say as far as economics goes, but I like their lies better.
I guess. I don't know. I don't fall into that category, I don't think.
You want to keep going on Adam Ruins
absolutely.
Everything. This is the real reason he claims hospitals are so expensive. So just kind of showing a dramatization of a hospital administrator cutting a deal with the insurance company as the administrator says, well, we can give you a discount. We'll just raise our prices by, quadruple.
It's the corporations, not the politicians. It's the corporations.
That's what he's
making
blaming.
These deals.
Yeah. So let's go on here.
And in less than a century, healthcare prices went from reasonable to nonsensical.
Let's make one Tylenol $37. 3 stitches, $2,200. Ooh, here's a pitch. What if we made rectal exams $69? Nah, that's too silly even for me.
The dramatic music is him opening up a vault, putting this book they call the Charge Master, which they said earlier was this secretive document that hospitals have where it lists all these ridiculous prices, which, as we've determined, are actually as a result of restricted competition in the marketplace and all the government rules put on different companies, because if you want to develop some sort of...
There's more to it than that.
Yeah, sure. We'll get into it.
These crazily inflated prices are kept in the hospital's Charge Master. It's actually a computer file, but the book is more dramatic.
$7 for a single alcohol swab? That's ridiculous.
And true.
Well, I only pay my premium. If they want to rip off my insurance company with their fake prices, what do I care?
If you ever lose insurance, you'll care. Because here's the really evil part. If you don't have insurance, you actually get charged these fake prices.
Yes.
Isn't it true, though, that you can negotiate down a cash price at some places?
Sure. But when Tylenol's been inflated to $30 from, 3 cents?
Yeah.
Then negotiating a 30% off cash benefit is still not a great deal.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'd like to point out what happened to my wife and I when she was pregnant. Mm-hmm. So we went to the hospital, and we were going to get on their little plan or whatever and, pay for these deals. We went to the cashier, who's the only person who knows the prices of anything, and we asked them, and they said, insurance? And they said, well, we have insurance, but it's only catastrophic care, and it does not cover prenatal. Mm-hmm. Insurance? Well, we don't want to... just so you're clear that just because we have insurance, that's just putting it in your system in case we get called in. Can we have your insurance, please? So we gave the insurance information, and then they took away our 30% cash discount that they said that they would give us because we had insurance. But it wasn't for this, but they did it anyway, and they wouldn't refund that.
All right, 855, 450 free. We still got a little more here from Adam Ruins Everything. We're just about halfway through, and you can take control of the airwaves. It is Free Talk Live.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.Global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.Global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.Global. That's AnyPay.Global.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Zencash.com.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
Hi, I'm Patrick Kolbeck, and I'm running for governor. In the wake of the adoption of Common Core in 2010, Michigan's education system has been in a steady decline. In order to regain our former reputation for education excellence, we need to dump Common Core and get the feds and state government out of the classroom. We need to refocus education upon parents, teachers, and students. Under my service as governor, our schools will get the resources they need without any micromanagement of the classroom. Principled Solutions prioritize your best interests, not lobbyists. Paid for by Patrick Kolbeck for governor.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free. Take control of the airwaves. Bring up whatever you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. We're talking about healthcare and the costs. And we're going into the show on True TV. Adam Ruins Everything and his explanation for why hospitals are so expensive. He's, of course, blaming the corporations, which, you know, there's some collusion involved there between the corporations and the government, but to ignore the government's as one of the major causes of healthcare increasing costs is, well, you're ignoring the real problem. But we'll get into it because, Johnson, you say it gets a little deeper than we've already scratched on the surface here, so we continue with this. But also, I do want to let you know over at freetalklive.com, we got a lot of features, and we give them all to you. If you like the fact that we've got free archives, we get the free webcam. Everything on the site we give away. If you like that everything's free, then maybe you want to support us for $5 a month through the AMP program. You go to amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get some perks and bonuses that, the average listener doesn't get, like you get access to the AMP-only chat rooms on our Discord server. You get a special Free Talk Live badge on the Free Talk Live forum. And there are other bonuses like the AMP-only podcast, which doesn't have the commercials our normal podcast does, the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only Facebook group. Go to amp.freetalklive.com to get on board with the AMP program for $5 a month. You can use credit card, you can use PayPal, as well as Bitcoin BTC to get started over at amp.freetalklive.com. We continue here with Adam Ruins Everything.
Let's see, heart x-rays. That'll be $33,000.
I can't afford that.
No problem. We'll just garnish your wages.
Oh, bogus.
Wait, they actually charge people without insurance fake prices?
Yeah.
This is terrible. Well, thankfully, I have insurance, so the charge master doesn't affect me.
Unfortunately, it does.
Even if you're insured, you can get billed charge master prices if you go out of network. And anything can be out of network. The hospital you go to, the equipment used to treat you, even the doctors you see.
Aero Specialist. Out of network, I'm very expensive.
Hospitals make a ton of money overcharging out-of-network patients. It's a real cash cow, and we all get milked.
Worse, every hospital has its own charge master. A treatment that costs $7,000 at one hospital could cost $100,000 down the road.
And you can't comparison shop when you're dying.
Which hospital you want, Moneybags Medical or St. Vincent's Discount Sick House? Moneybags it is.
Plus, since your insurance company faces inflated costs, that can trickle down to you in the form of higher premiums.
Yep. Oh, surprisingly painless.
Wait till you get the bill.
How do they get away with this?
Simple. The healthcare industry spends more on lobbying than the oil and defense industries.
Who are they lobbying? Who are they lobbying?
Right.
They're lobbying the insurance industry and the other corporations in Wall Street that's coming to get us because I'm an economically illiterate leftist.
Here we go.
Combined.
Thanks, Doc. I'll take care of you real nice. Say, does this cyst look normal?
It's
oh God.
So
the person asking is Uncle Sam. So Uncle Sam does make an appearance here. He's collecting a big bag of money from the doctor who hands it to him. That's who was just talking in that last scene.
How can I stop it?
But make
What
sure
do
we
I
don't
do?
blame politicians.
Honestly, nothing. We need to go to the hospital, so they have no incentive to change how they do business. And politicians have spent decades arguing over how to pay the bill instead of asking why the bill is so high.
Yeah.
Until they do, we're stuck with this system.
God, what if I get fired and lose my insurance? I would be ruined. Oh, I feel so anxious.
Rachel, the doctor will see you now, down the hall and to your left.
Well, then, if I'm gonna get ripped off, I might as well score some antibiotics. I want to be done with this cold, and those miracle drugs are worth whatever they cost.
Even if it means the end of modern medicine?
You are the worst person I have ever met, and I work in finance.
All right.
By the way, antibiotics aren't going to fix your cold.
Yeah. It's a virus.
Let's go to Chris. He's in Connecticut, calling from, I'm not sure. Where are you in Connecticut, Chris?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I'm Doug Sittell, Sittl on Google.
Okay.
My YouTube upload number 8. Judge says you're going to flee to Brazil, rarely me into Trenton Psychiatric Hospital. I'm in solitary.
Are you still in the psychiatric
She
hospital?
runs the hospital. She will give you a contract. Alex Lascalzo tried to push a pen into my brain through my eye socket. They covered it up off the camera.
Was this at
It's
the
on YouTube uploads number 8?
Was this at the mental hospital?
Yeah, it's premeditated and uploads 8, Doug Sittl through Google.
So I don't know how many more times I got to tell you. If you do it again, you're going to be banned from the show. Okay, we'll just ban you. All right, thank you for the call.
You make me want to jam a pen through my own eye socket.
We'll just ban you from the show.
Clearly, this guy feels like something terrible has happened to him.
He seems to be
so
crazy.
Difficult to follow.
Yeah.
That,
well, you can just go to his YouTube channel, Mark, and then you can watch his 4-hour-long audio clips.
Yeah.
Where all will be revealed.
I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that
You're
I'll
going to get right on that, aren't you?
He's been calling for years. I've never gone. It's just not that compelling.
I went once. The first time he called in, I did actually go and confirmed my belief that he is a nut job.
Could have a round table with all of our callers with YouTube channels.
So,
Dave, this guy.
All right, back to this
Well,
thing.
what about the guys with the Nazi flags and stuff that are going to expose us for something?
Okay, so Adam Ruins Everything. We've gotten through that. What was the deeper part that you wanted to get to?
So
here?
the deeper part, so we just got into the insurance. That video just only talked about the insurance and
the prices.
Taking away the market prices. The market signals there, right? Because of insurance, and
that's not the term he used, but
no,
yeah,
but we understand that. Hey, when you're not paying for something yourself, and there's this charge master or whatever, because of these, corporations getting kickbacks, politicians getting kickbacks, and there's, this basically complete separation between that and the actual customer.
Right.
Those market signals have been completely cut off in multiple different directions of where market signals would ordinarily come from.
Yep.
There's that. But there's a much deeper, another hidden thing that is generating massive cost increases to healthcare, and this is actually from a liberal news source, the New York Times. The article is "The Astonishingly High Administrative Costs of U.S. Healthcare. Hidden from view, the complexity of the system comes with costs that aren't obvious, but we all pay." And the picture that is the headline picture of this article is a massive library of manila folders on their side, all with color-coded labels.
All the paperwork.
Just massive amounts of paperwork.
Yeah.
And it says the caption is a medical record center.
This is part of the reason why, hold on, before you go on, this is part of the reason why the costs are very, very high. It's not just they arbitrarily decided it should be $37 for an aspirin. It's some of this cost is the bulk of this work that's just busy work ultimately that
and
has
all
to be
these people
done.
that they had to hire. Well, they created jobs of people doing useless nonsense.
Shuffling papers around to the insurance companies, to the Medicaid, to the Medicare.
Being completely unproductive.
Right. And I remember years ago, there was some nurse or a doctor's office worker who called, or a doctor or whatever it was, and we asked the question of, what percentage of your time and your employees' time is actually spent doing healthcare versus doing paperwork. And even the doctor said that his or her time was spent, bulk of it, doing paperwork. Plus, all their employees are also basically there to do paperwork. So the huge bulk of the personnel costs of any of these organizations is paperwork.
And you need a certain amount of paperwork to run an office. Let's look at it, for example, at veterinarian offices, where they have much, much less government regulation, and they don't deal with insurance companies too often.
There are pet insurance companies, but they're not mandated to do anything.
Right, they're not that common. Yeah. And when you look at veterinary offices, you probably are going to need a secretary out front scheduling appointments to keep your doctor busy.
But she's also answering phones and dealing with the people as they come in.
She's probably going to deal with the credit card machine and these kinds of things.
That's no more than any other business has
There is a veterinarian here in town that has none of those things. You got to pay in cash, and you set your appointment up with her, and then you come and you go to her office, which is attached to her house.
Really?
And you get your services there.
Does she take crypto?
I haven't talked to her about that. It's been some years since I've seen her. I use my large animal vet that comes out to my house.
Oh, that's nice.
And not only does he accept cash, but he'll accept pork. So it was just a lot easier just to hand him some pork to shave some cost off the bill.
Hand him a piece of the animal he was taking care of before. Nice.
Well, ultimately that's how it is.
Yeah.
He knows that the animal's well taken care of.
Sure.
Nobody in Cheshire County is calling out vets for pigs like I was. By the way, the best story is when he puts that really long rubber glove on and then shoves.
Snap it?
No, this one didn't snap. It was a little looser. He slides it up into Kelly Ayotte's,
Did you say that on the radio?
Freshly, birth canal, and just to feel around whether or not all the placenta's out. That 300-pound sow, I thought she was going to come out crazy out of that stall.
We'll talk more about this on the way, the healthcare thing, that is. 855-450, free.
How well and how fast does Heart and Body Extract work to improve blood circulation? Listen.
My name is Ellis, and I'm 66 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as having clogged arteries. I had 70% blockage in one artery leading to my heart. They wanted me to go on Plavix, but I refused, knowing the negative side effects.
Heart and Body Extract is a unique balance, synergy, and proportion of herbs reaching from head to toe at maximum absorption around 95% at the cellular level.
Within the first month, I felt a dramatic difference. The heaviness in my legs was reduced, and within 2 months, I felt completely normal.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract. Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Call 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, July 31st, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.49 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,220 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $27, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,877. Antiwar.com reports addressing media questions on Monday. President Donald Trump announced that he is willing to meet with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani if the Iranians are willing to do so. He said they could meet anytime with no preconditions. The comments come after a week of conflicting statements on Iran, many from Trump himself. This time last week, Trump was threatening Iran with consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered, but then said he was willing to make a deal just days later. This was followed by reports as recently as Sunday that the U.S. is preparing to attack Iran. Trump said he views this meeting as generally positive, saying one with Rouhani would be good for the country, good for them, good for us, and good for the world. Iran has not, as of Monday evening, responded to Trump's comments. Iranian state media, however, had reported earlier in the month that Rouhani's chief of staff told them that Trump had asked for meetings with Rouhani 8 times in the past month and was rebuffed. Iranian officials had said they were not interested in one-sided talks under the shadow of a threat, which isn't to say Iran would not accept talks under any circumstances, but that Iran is clearly not interested in following the North Korea model of protracted U.S. threats and ever-increasing sanctions, even when the negotiations are ongoing. Iran expert Trita Parsi expressed doubts that Trump would be able to get a better deal out of Iran, calling many of Trump's demands non-starters. He added that the better deal would need more American concessions to be reached. Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com, zencash.com. UPI reports the next time you walk through an airport to catch a flight, the Transportation Security Administration might have an extra eye on you, even if you don't have a criminal record or aren't on any watch list. The agency has acknowledged the existence of its Quiet Skies surveillance program, an added airport security measure designed to watch for potential signs of danger, first reported by the Boston Globe. Michael Bolello, Assistant Administrator for TSA Public Affairs, told UPI the program uses an algorithm to observe travelers, including U.S. citizens, to identify a pattern of travel and passengers whose destinations and activities match intelligence on terrorist threats. This data is collected, reviewed by TSA personnel, and combined with state, local, federal law enforcement information to determine whether the traveler may be a threat to flight crew or passengers. TSA personnel then refer any potential threatening information to federal air marshals. Under the program, the marshals observe passenger activity in airport terminals, including who they talk to and their visits to airport restrooms. They also watch for signs of potential trouble, excessive fidgeting, sweating, use of computers, and whether a passenger waits to board the plane last. Bolello noted TSA agents are trained to look for passengers who may be acting erratically at TSA checkpoints, but that observation ends upon exiting the checkpoint. He said if the person were in the program, the air marshal would then begin observing them on the sterile side of the airport because they are trying to anticipate their next move. They're trying to determine if the person is a threat to aviation security. Bolello said only a very small population of travelers are placed in the program, and it's not intended to watch ordinary Americans. He added the program does not select passengers for observation based on race or religion. Although they are targets of extra scrutiny, the tracked passengers are not suspected of any crimes. Passengers who continue to fly without any adverse incidents for a period of time can be removed from the Quiet Skies program. Quiet Skies has been in use since 2010, and both Congress and the airlines have been aware of the program. Officials said the surveillance program is in use at most of the busiest airports in the United States, including Seattle, Minneapolis, Detroit, Boston, New York City, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, Charlotte, Phoenix, Myrtle Beach, Atlanta, Houston, Miami, Philadelphia, and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A new video game is being criticized for its harsh portrayal of barbed wire. Here's GameByte's Caitlin Torres with more.
Bethesda's The Evil Within is a nightmarish adventure that shows bloody and rusty barbed wire being used to hurt innocent people, which has angered the nation's barbed wire producers.
Barbed wire is a positive force for good. It protects our junkyards from scrap metal thieves and helps keep our cattle ranches safe from rustlers. But Bethesda thinks it's okay to ignore all the benefits of barbed wire and make it look like some scary thing used by murderers.
The designers have promised that the game will feature prominent messages extolling the virtues of the sharp steel fencing. But barbed wire groups say that it's too little too late.
If Bethesda wants to make this right, they should have the main character go behind a fence and then be safe from monsters because they can't climb over the barbed wire to get him. Now that's a game I would play.
Let's hope Bethesda listens.
Thanks, Caitlin.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever is on your mind as we launch into the third hour of the program. We're in the middle of a healthcare related conversation talking about why the prices are so expensive. You can't just blame the insurance companies and the hospitals. The government also is a huge role and a huge part of all this, and ultimately they all kind of work together to ensure, well, more profits for themselves at the cost of all of us who end up having to pay the bill, unnecessarily high bills that would be much lower if there was actually an open, free market in healthcare, just like with every other industry where the government hasn't gotten their tendrils into everything, like the computer hardware business, where it's always the go-to example because for the most part, government doesn't know how to regulate that. That's a world that is moves way too fast for government, and so there really aren't any government approval agencies over computer programming and computer hardware design. And so we get all kinds of wonderful advancements, costs going down over time, where, when you spend $1,000 on a computer today, you compare that to a computer you spent $1,000 on a decade ago, and it's going to probably best it in every single category by a factor of, 12 or something like that, maybe even more. You go back to a $1,000 computer 20 years ago, and it's going to be nothing in comparison. Healthcare is not that way. It's kind of at a stasis almost, with barely any real incentive to develop, any real incentive to innovate. bring costs down? No, there's virtually no competition because it's limited by the state. Let's go back to your calls and thoughts, though. I know, Johnson, you had more from the New York Times on the subject, and but right now we got Mortified Penguin. He's on Skype. Go ahead.
Yep, Mortified Penguin, certified Discord troll, giving you a call. I wanted to actually turn the clock back to the discussion about Uber.
Yeah,
and,
sure. So right now in
really
Madrid and Barcelona and other cities in Spain, the taxi drivers are protesting Uber by just basically sitting in the streets all day, all night. They've set up tents, they're camping out, and they're throwing rocks at Uber drivers if they happen to be around. So that's what's going on there. What about your comments? Go ahead.
Well, like I said before, I am an Uber driver. I drive Uber part-time.
Okay.
I haven't signed up for any of the other ride-sharing services, and I love it, and I'll be doing it tonight. And but I've been meaning to call and thank you just how great it was, that show you did around the beginning of Forkfest, or right before, where you had one of your former co-hosts. It was an Uber driver full-time.
You're talking about TSA George, who's now Uber George?
Yeah, that was a cool show. He talked a lot about stuff. I picked up a lot of stuff, a lot of good advice. Like, just be professional. I'm the same way. I like to focus on the road and driving. I don't like to talk to people, but I do have some good conversations here and there. And I mean, it's a cool thing. But in regards to actually the service, the technology, it's just for those that aren't familiar with Uber, you either use your location, you open the app, you use your location service, or you type in your pickup address.
Are you talking about as a customer or as a driver?
Well, first as a customer, and then you summon the ride. You see your driver's picture, name, and bio.
Yep.
And you see the little car icon go on the map in real time, second by second.
Right, and it shows you their car type, like what the model and the color is, and it shows you their license plate number, so you know exactly which car you're looking for.
Also, it keeps it provides a much higher level of safety. So, for instance, you'll find that there are few female taxi cab drivers, especially at night. However, when it comes to Uber drivers, you can't even use the app until your credit card is entered.
That's true.
So you are identified from the beginning. That means that it doubles the workforce, potential workforce for Uber, because I did do an interview at one point with a female Uber driver down in New Orleans, and she said, yeah, she feels completely safe because, but she wouldn't drive a cab.
Interesting. I've never actually been in an Uber with a female driver, but it's good to know.
Yes, and I've never. And just as a man still, I've never really felt a threat of violence being robbed or anything, because there's no cash involved. It's pure, it's purely with credit cards. Unless I think there is some sort of obscure option, but yeah, it's purely with credit cards, automatically billed. They don't, and then the rider doesn't have to worry about any shenanigans with the meter, or any taking a longer route or trying to scam people or bilk people in that direction. And
well, in theory, the driver could take a longer route. I mean, there's no way to prevent that from happening. Unless if you know the route, then you would know if they're taking a longer one. But if you don't know it, then you don't know.
Yeah, well, I think you can follow it on your phone, and plus they usually have the app up there on their dash. I mean, it's just but and there's a record of it, every ride forever, and it's just great.
Yeah,
I don't know. How do taxis still exist? Like, you call a taxi service. You give them, you call, you wait on hold, you give them.
They're established. I mean, they're coasting, basically. They're trying to stay relevant through using legislation, through using the government to impose taxes and impose regulations. I mean, the story for those just tuning in was in the first hour of the show about how these taxi companies in Madrid and Barcelona are saying this is not good enough, that we can have 5 cabs on the road for every 1 Uber driver. We want it to be 30 to 1. We don't want Uber to be able to have any more than 1 car for every 30 taxis. So that's how they're doing it.
Ubers with a license, not
correct.
Even like I can. If you have just a smartphone you have in your pocket, you can be a rider and or a driver.
That's right.
With just a few more documents provided. I don't need a license, special license
to
do it.
In most cities, you don't. In the United States, that's correct.
So Uber's relatively recently instituted a tipping option within their
the app.
Within their app.
Oh, interesting.
So you can send a tip within the app, and I am basically anti-tipping. I'm of the opinion that companies, organizations, whatever, Uber's going to say, well, they are not our employees, should pay what the market demands for their employees and not expect their customers to kind of make up the difference.
I don't mind tipping.
In a
it doesn't
weird
bother me.
way. I understand, but I feel this is how I feel. You tell me the price, and I'd like to pay that. And this is what I'll tell a bar, whoever the hairstylist or barber or whomever I sit down with is, look, I just want to know what you want. I don't want to play this guessing game as to whether or not I'm a good person.
Are you going to offend the person?
Right. Am I going to? Is $2 sufficient, or must I give you $20 to get this excellent customer service? Like, I don't even know.
It's hard.
I just want. Please just tell me.
There's also a huge difference though between when you're paying the employer and the employee. And tipping, you're directly paying the employee, the person who is actually doing the work for you. Whereas if you're paying one single fee, you're paying that to the employer, and then they decide what they pay their employee.
Well, there's two different situations. There's one where tipping, like with a server and where they're paid, it's kind of expected. Right. And there's almost a social contract. And there's tipping with Uber, as far as I'm concerned, and in my experience, that's just an extra that you sometimes get for exceptional service, especially late at night, coming home from the bar. Bartenders will tip you great, and of course they'll tip you in cash. But it's not expected.
Right. By the way, taxi cab drivers have been tipped for a very long time, and an Uber driver's similar to a taxi cab driver.
Except Uber drivers are told when they sign up to not expect tips.
Right. That much is true. So you've got this, with a taxi cab driver, I always got tipped because the expectation is that you will tip.
Right.
I also tried to do what I considered to be the things that chauffeurs would do. So I
get out, open the door,
open doors, put luggage in, make sure that I
That's
have
how you earn a tip.
Things in the car that make the car pleasant and, that kind of thing, the ride pleasant as best I could.
The Uber drivers do that too. They'll have like a bottle of water or bottles of water in the back. They'll have the charging cords for the iPhones.
Yeah, many of them do that, and it's great
smart.
service.
It's smart for them to do that. So how long have you been driving for them, Mortified Penguin?
Since pretty much the very beginning of this year.
Okay, all right.
So I've really enjoyed it. I mean, it's pretty cool.
How's your rating? How's your how many stars do you have?
I'm actually I like oscillating or vacillating, I guess, between like a 4 point in the low 4.7s, but I'm finally going back up.
Don't they cut you off if you go below like a 4 or something like that? What's the current cutoff?
Well before that.
Before that,
but it's dependent on the region and how people rate in that particular region. Same with a lot of the regulations. It's region dependent. So I think mine's my state, Virginia.
Interesting. Hey, Mortified Penguin, thank you for the call. Thanks for the story as an Uber driver. Oh my God, this thing is so annoying. Should we just get rid of Skype at this point because I can't turn that off?
Microsoft has really made me angry with this.
All right, more coming up here. And yes, somebody else is on Skype, as now everyone knows. It's Free Talk Live.
From the 6th letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial in toll-free. Take control of these airwaves here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number here, 855-450. Free like freedom. 855-450-3733. And Acapulco is about 6 months away, February 14th through the 19th, 2019, in beautiful Acapulco, Mexico. Mark, you and I were there this year. It was great.
Yeah, awesome event.
Best one yet. It was also sold out. So it's not unreasonable to believe that 2019 will also sell out, because word gets around. I mean, people talk. Hey, did you have fun at Acapulco? Yeah, it was great. It was Mexico, and it was a lot of fun, and great resort, beautiful location, dozens of great speakers. Ron Paul's coming back in 2019. Plus Judge Napolitano, Doug Casey, Larkin Rose, and other speakers to be announced, because it's still pretty early on. The early bird rates expire sometime today, so you may be, I don't know, maybe it's still up right now. I don't know. I haven't gone to the site. Whether it is or not, you still want to get your tickets, and you can still use code FTL, as I understand it, to get the 15% off whatever the current prices happen to be. So, of course, more great speakers will be announced as we get closer to an Acapulco. Free Talk Live will be there again, so we'll look forward to seeing you as we broadcast from the awesome Acapulco. You definitely want to be there February 14th through the 19th in Acapulco, Mexico. Go to anarchapulco.com. Use code FTL like Free Talk Live to get your discount. That's anarchapulco.com, code FTL, as we continue here. And I'm not joking when I say this is the premier libertarian, voluntarist, anarcho-capitalist event. There's nothing better that I've seen, and it's really a lot of fun.
Right, and I believe that so thoroughly that we aren't taking profit for this. We're not charging for this ad. We just think it's great. And
we do costs, basically.
Yeah.
They pay our travel costs.
Yeah, they pay our travel costs, and we love being involved in the event.
Anarchapulco.com, code FTL. Let's go to David. He's in New Mexico on Skype. Hello, David.
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico. I wanted to
discuss a few more details of that, what I introduced last night, that video, that cop shooting in Minneapolis, because I think it's important and they didn't get discussed.
Okay.
If you want to introduce it.
I have not seen the video yet. You told us about it last night. There was some guy who got shot in the back after openly consuming some sort of alcohol. A cop came up and confronted him. He ran for it, and the cop
saw a concealed weapon or some kind of weapon.
Some kind of weapon. He said, "I'm going to shoot you," as the dude was running away, and then proceeded to kill the man by shooting him in the back. That's my understanding.
Right. Let me rapid fire through the sequence so people can follow it, and then I'll add the details that we didn't get to at the end. So apparently there was a call for, somebody was shooting in the air. Whether or not this dude was doing it or it even happened, who knows? And from the video, there's two cops in their own units, one rolling behind the other, and they're talking to each other on the radio as they roll up. And they're all calm and casual rolling up, and the lead cop says to his partner behind him on the radio as they're rolling up, he says, this guy has some gin or something like that. So the way the cops are talking, they're just rolling up because somebody had called in that they saw a bottle of gin. When they roll up, the dude is sitting on the curb. He's calm as can be. His backpack's off his back, laying on the sidewalk. He's talking to a woman pushing a stroller, and there's a 4-year-old girl there with the woman. And the dude sitting on the sidewalk never sees the cops coming up, and the first thing the cops do when they get up on him, they go from calm to excited when the lead cop sees a gun and he says to his partner, he's got a gun, and he gets all excited.
Yep.
And then
adrenaline starts pumping.
Right.
And
exactly.
I don't want to have to retell the story again in as great detail. What you told us last night was the guy got up, he ran, the cops chased him, and they shot him to death. I mean, he didn't ever shoot the cop. He never pulled the gun on the cops.
He did say, however, don't shoot me, don't shoot me, don't shoot me. So it's possible that the reason he ran was because he believed that the police were going to shoot him because they said, gun,
and
gun, gun.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is part of their training is to just yell gun, right? And it doesn't mean, the gun's necessarily in the hand being leveled at a government agent, just that it exists, and that's that's a real hole in their training.
What happens if you're in a big group of cops at a stop and you start yelling gun and point at one of the cops?
I don't know. You might get shot.
Yeah.
Hey, so
look for the person without the uniform and shoot them.
What's the additional thing you wanted to share that you didn't get to?
Well, where we knocked off yesterday was they're chasing him down the alley after chasing him several blocks. They're chasing him down the alley, and the guy finally puts the gun is, it looked like it was holstered, but it's probably tucked in his pants, in his waistband, and he's running, and at some point it's one of two things in my mind. Either he actually does pull it out because he thinks he might need it for self-defense, or at some point it's going to fall out of your belt, and so he just grabs it so that he can continue to run without the gun falling out.
Okay.
And so now the dude has it in his hand. He doesn't turn and point it at the cop. He's just running with it in his hand. And you don't even see the gun except for when he looks over his shoulder to see how far behind the cop is. The gun becomes visible. The second the gun becomes visible, that's when the cops open fire on him. He never points it at him. It just becomes visible. And as soon as that happens, you see on camera, the lead cop opens fire on him, with like 5, rapid fire, 5-6 shots.
I know if I were like in a convenience store and there was a robbery and I was armed and I was thinking about preventing the robbery in the convenience store, I would wait until the criminal that was like robbing the store pointed their gun at me before I did anything about it. I know I'd wait until they pointed it at me.
I got to say that this is the reason this guy got shot.
Wait a minute. This guy has been running away from him for several blocks, running away from him, not
he's
starting
he's running, so he's making himself into a threat.
He's in an interaction with a law enforcement officer, and then he draws his weapon. I don't know how else to describe that. That's why they didn't go after him.
Yeah, he's in an interaction with a law enforcement officer, and then he runs, indicating that he's a criminal.
When did the cop say? You said yesterday the cop said he was going to shoot him. Was that before he grabbed the gun or after he grabbed the gun?
Way before, about 20 seconds of sprinting before he gets shot, the cop says to him, "I am going to shoot you." And when a cop says, if someone says, "I am going to shoot you," when you do not have legal grounds to shoot somebody, that is a threat. And at that point, frankly, you should be able to argue self-defense, because the cop does not have the law.
And I'm not justifying it. And thanks for the call, David. I wouldn't justify the cop shooting the dude, but what you said, Mark, is this is, at least from the average person's perspective, is going to justify the shooting, which is probably why the
police justifies it from the legal standpoint, and that's all that matters.
So
we have a monopoly dispute resolution organization, and they're going to see it that way.
If you're coming from the perspective of, well, he said he was going to shoot him, so you should be able to pull out your gun and defend yourself. No. That's just, you could pull out your gun and get into a firefight if that's what you want to do. You're going to die.
That's libertarian fantasies.
So the solution here, obviously, the police are not going to stop being aggressive. Yeah. The police are not going to stop shooting innocent people. There are of you. Well, actually, there are far fewer police than there are of the rest of us.
No. Of one idiot with a gun who thinks he's going to defend himself.
That's true.
Police.
But so the solution here is, considering the police are not going to become less aggressive, you need to, if you are a gun owner, buy a holster, right? Because if that was the issue, if the dude was losing the gun and he had to grab it to stop it from falling out of his pants, get a holster, keep the gun in the holster.
Having it fall out of his pants was the best thing that would have happened to him.
More coming up. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
Hey, Dave, you in for golf this weekend?
I can't. I promised I'd find a plumber to fix a sink and a painter to paint the...
Just use Angie's List.
Doesn't that cost money?
Not at all. It's free to find pros in your area who can do the work. You can even read ratings and reviews from other customers.
What about roofing pros?
Angie's List has pros for everything. And to save time, they'll even match you to the best pros for the job.
Oh, that's awesome. Looks like I'll be able to play after all.
Find the best pros for your next project at angieslist.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, did you get my email? Or emailing to say, I left you a voicemail. If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll free and take control of the airwaves. Here, our number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, the Skype username LRN.FM. The Discord on-air call-in line room for you is discord.lrn.fm. Plus, there is our Twitch channel over at twitch.lrn.fm where you can watch Free Talk Live via our live stream during our live hours, 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. We are there in HD quality through our Twitch stream. You can also watch us on YouTube, but it's not HD on YouTube, so you probably don't really want to do that. Plus, Twitch also has cool things like the following capability where you can follow our channel and get notices when we go live. That way you remember. I mean, we're always live at the same time every night, but sometimes you're not paying attention. So it's nice to get a little bit of a notice to give you the heads up that you can tune in. Twitch.lrn.fm. Be sure to follow us there as we continue. We, of course, will take your calls and thoughts. But, Johnson, we were talking about the New York Times, and it's a story about hospital costs.
Mm-hmm. Administrative costs of healthcare in general.
And all the insane, paperwork that's basically burdening this system and dramatically increasing personnel costs, which is the largest chunk of running any business, is paying employees.
So this article goes on to say, it takes only a glance at a hospital bill or the myriad choices you may have for healthcare coverage to get a sense of the bewildering complexity of healthcare financing in the United States. That complexity doesn't just exact a cognitive cost, it also comes with administrative costs that are largely hidden from view, but that we all pay.
Sure.
Because they're not directly related to patient care, we rarely think about administrative costs. They're high.
Yep.
A widely cited study published in the New England Journal of Medicine used data from 1999 to estimate that about 30% of American healthcare expenditures were the result of administration, about twice what it is in Canada. If the figures hold today, they mean that out of the average of about $19,000 that U.S. workers and their employers pay for family coverage each year, $5,700 goes toward administrative costs.
Wow, it's a lot of bureaucracy. And that's interesting that they compare it to Canada, claiming that even under a government bureaucracy, there's more administrative costs here than there is under a total government system. That's almost hard to imagine, but it's just, I guess, goes to show how labyrinthine and difficult and confusing the regulations are here in the U.S.
Well, not just the regulations, but it's the insurance companies too. Insurance companies are only
regulated.
A step better than governments, and in some ways they're probably a step worse. And they are, in and of themselves, voluntary governments. The problem with medicine is that basically, with healthcare in this country, is that the government's taxation rules entrenched the notion that employers should pay for insurance for employees. If that had never happened, then you might have catastrophic care for insurance or something like that. But by and large, your day-to-day medical expenses would be something that you could pay for. And you would have never had the extreme costs that you currently have. Let's not forget the lawyers and the litigiousness driving up the costs of medical care, too.
Well, they go on to say, such costs aren't all bad. Some are tied up in things we may want, such as creating a quality improvement program. Others are for things we may dislike. For example, figuring out which of our claims to accept or reject, or sending us bills. Others are just necessary, like processing payments, hiring and managing doctors and other employees, or maintaining information systems. That New England Journal of Medicine study is still the only one on administrative costs
from 1999.
Yeah, that encompasses the entire healthcare system.
But the numbers were from 1999.
Right, exactly. Many other more recent studies examine the important portions of it. However, the story remains the same. Like the overall cost of U.S. health system, its administrative cost alone is number 1 in the world. Using data from 2010 and 2011, one study published in Health Affairs compared hospital administrative costs in the United States with those in 7 other places: Canada, England, Scotland, Wales, France, Germany, and the Netherlands. At just over 25% of total spending on hospital care, or 1.4% of total United States economic output, American hospital administrative costs exceed those of all other places. The Netherlands was a second in hospital administrative costs, almost 20% of hospital spending, and 0.8% of that country's GDP. At the low end were Canada and Scotland, which both spend about 12% of hospital expenditures on administration, or about 0.5% of GDP. Hospitals are not the only source of high administrative spending in the United States. Physician practices also devote a large portion of revenue to administration. By one estimate, for every 10 physicians providing care, almost 7 additional people are engaged in billing-related activities.
Wow.
It is no surprise, then, that a majority of American doctors say that generating bills and collecting payments is a major problem.
Yep.
Canadian practices only spend 27% of what U.S. ones do on dealing with payers like Medicare or
That's
private
a big
insurance.
difference.
Yeah. Another study in Health Affairs surveyed physicians and physician practice administrators about billing tasks. It found that doctors spend about 3 hours per week dealing with billing-related matters. For each doctor, a further 19 hours per week are spent by medical support workers, and 36 hours per week of administrators' time is consumed in this way. Added together, this time costs an additional $68,000 per year per physician in 2006. Because these are administrative costs, that's above and beyond the cost associated with direct provision of medical care. In JAMA,
Journal of American Medical Association.
Yep. Scholars from Harvard and Duke examined the billing-related costs in an academic medical center. Their study essentially followed bills through the system to see how much time different types of medical workers spent in generating and processing them. At the low end, such activities accounted for only 3% of revenue for surgical procedures, perhaps because surgery is itself so expensive. At the high end, 25% of the emergency department visit revenue went toward billing costs. Primary care visits were in the middle, with billing functions accounting for 15% of revenue, or about $100,000 per year per primary care provider. The extraordinary costs we see are not because of administrative slack or because healthcare leaders don't try to economize, said Kevin Schulman, the co-author of the study and a professor of medicine at Duke. The high administrative costs are functions of the system's complexity. Costs related to billing appear to be growing. A literature review.
Well, it's only going to get more complex.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's got
more regulations.
Worse.
Well, regulations and rules written by the insurance companies and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That's why I say I really do believe, because you can see the socialized medicine type countries here have fewer of these Byzantine rules. That's why I tell you that I think the only politically expedient route out of this mess is socialized medicine. I don't advocate.
It's a hard thing to say, man.
I don't advocate for it. I don't support it. But if you continue to let the government break your leg and then accept their crutch over and over again and say, thank you for the crutch, if you don't realize the same group of people...
Then how do you get out of it? I mean, how do you...
Leave the country. It's your only option.
To go to another country with socialized medicine? How do you get out of socialized medicine?
The rise and the fall of the state has been going on for 9,000 1,000 years. Yes, that's the only solution.
All right, so coming up, we're going to do an Edgington Post. Mark, you did a special episode with Stefan Kinsella about intellectual property on your Edgington Post
That's
show.
right, to address the disagreement that you and I had a couple of days ago.
And there's good news about that. I'm surprised, but YouTube actually did undo your takedown upon my request. So I don't know if you heard about this, but Mark pulled a Molyneux and did a DMCA takedown request without permission. He was completely unauthorized to do
Ian's
that.
happy because a group of people that are calling him a pedophile now get their video where they're lying
I'm
back
happy
up.
that our show, once again, has never taken down a video. We were able to undo the damage that you did.
Permanently
Thank
taken down
you.
a video.
Yep, has never taken it down.
Permanently.
So we're out of time for the live show tonight. But again, stay tuned for the Edgington Post interview on intellectual property. That is coming up. And if you're on the radio, you'll only hear the first part of the interview. You have to go and get the archive from tonight's show at freetalklive.com to hear the full thing.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads, often listed as an Amazon choice.
Why take another pill?
Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap, a complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay, or call us 253-678-1361.
Free Talk Live.
Who stopped her from sitting down?
People stopped black people before Rosa Parks all the time. They used force. They used dogs. They used fire hoses. They brought in the National Guard. Come on, man. It's like you don't even know what happened in your own country.
Get to the present. You're talking about
that's right, Mark. That's the past.
You have to be informed by history.
James, you've acknowledged that there's a bunch of bad laws today, but are you saying now that today that bad laws should be obeyed by good people?
Bad laws should be changed. And
but in the
meantime,
meantime,
you should not break them.
But in the meantime, you're saying obey all the bad laws, no matter what they say.
You need to obey the laws, yeah. The way that they are
like
written.
Rosa Parks should have.
Why don't you go kiss the boot?
All those slaves should have stayed off in their masters' houses. They shouldn't have escaped because that's illegal.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
All right, it's another edition of the Edgington Post Show. This is Mark Edge, and I mainly do these interviews for me. The reason I do them is to edify myself, and I figure the listener can really benefit by finding out some of the things I find out. For those of you that were listening to a recent episode, it was the 729 episode where Ian Freeman and I disagreed to some extent on what exactly the libertarian position on intellectual property is. That particular episode got listened to, well, Stefan Kinsella. Are you there, Stefan?
I'm here, Mark.
And you are basically the de facto IP god of libertarianism. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's correct.
And so for much of your working career, worked as an intellectual property lawyer, at the same time writing sort of libertarian theses against the idea of intellectual property. Correct?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. And to some extent, you travel the internet, whipping into shape people who do not have precisely the proper libertarian position on IP. Is that correct?
Sometimes, primarily for the people that listen so that people can learn, right? Because I think it's a very, very important issue. It's a neglected issue. And I think it's a very clearly unlibertarian issue once you understand it. In fact, I recently just joined the LP for the first time ever. And one of my goals is I'm going to try to get involved and try to push them to adopt an anti-patent and copyright plank in their platform because they don't have that now. So I think it's one of the most important issues libertarians can be clear on and correct on. And I think it's pretty easy to make progress on that because I've seen a lot of people's eyes open, including my own, over the last 15 or 20 years on this issue.
And this isn't an area that libertarians are necessarily all of accord on. And yeah, things have changed since you began your adventure in doing these things. And apparently your dog agrees. And I just, you contacted me on Facebook. And if Stefan Kinsella wants to come on the Edgington Post and talk about the ideas of intellectual property, by God, he can. So where am I wrong?
Yeah,
tell me how Ian's wrong.
I think it was clear that from a communication point of view, you thought you had his permission to do it. I'm a little confused why you thought that, but I think you did, and he wasn't 100% clear. So that was just between you guys, and I think you understand now he doesn't want DMCA takedown notices being issued. And we have to distinguish between what's a moral thing to do, what's a good thing to do, and what is a libertarian policy issue.
Right.
Whether or not it's moral or wise to use the DMCA process to take down YouTube videos, I'm not really any more of an expert on that than anyone. I think it's arguable that it's collaborating with the state or using state laws to censor free speech. You could say that, well, it's Google's and YouTube's private policy, and you're just taking advantage of that. But they probably wouldn't have that policy if the DMCA didn't force them to. So I think if you oppose copyright law, then I think it's kind of morally sketchy as a libertarian to use the DMCA process ever. So that's one thing,
right,
and I wanted to see.
That's what occurred is that, I had used the YouTube's intellectual property policy to have taken down a video that had been up for some years and that, just annoyed me for a long time.
Right.
And had been used multiple times by people who were attempting to get across a message that is the exact opposite of what Free Talk Lives is, that we were saying something other than what we were saying. And I felt like it was a lie, and therefore, no problem using whatever means there were available to me to get it taken down. That much is true, but to some extent, there's this disagreement that Ian and I had, sort of an underlying disagreement, where I say that intellectual property is an idea that people have, that we believe in intellectual property as a species. I used an example of hey, that guy just told my joke. If you happen to have made some clever joke. I mean, my wife sometimes will make a clever joke. I'll use it on the air, and I mean, like people want a credit or whatever for their joke. Now, it doesn't work on live radio to just give a credit for every joke you tell. Sometimes a joke just has to land, and you have to let people laugh.
Right. And so, you can redefine and use terms however you want, but then you have to be careful, because there's other established meanings of terms. So you're using intellectual property in sort of a loose, broad sense. And then in that case, we would have to say, okay, well, let's take copyright law itself. Do you believe that copyright law or anything similar to it is justified in accordance with libertarian legal principles or voluntarist legal principles, the one that we agree with? And I think, or I thought that in past years, you basically would be on the side of saying that no, when someone makes a copy of something someone else has made public, they don't initiate force or violate the rights of the originator of that idea, and therefore the use of force in response would not be justified, because then that would be aggression. Would you basically agree with that?
I guess what I think of as far as copyright law is that if one is going to use it, they should use it in order to protect themselves from someone using it against them. So, for instance, if I come up with a trademark for Free Talk Live, I should register that trademark in order that somebody doesn't take that same trademark, call their radio program Free Talk Live, and then say, see, they're using our trademark. And so from a defensive posture, I understand the use of government IP laws. From an offensive standpoint, where you're chasing people down because somebody used your picture on the internet and now you're going to get them for 50 grand, that sounds outrageous to me. The one area as far as intellectual property goes that I can see the point of is trademarks. So if another radio program comes out and calls itself Free Talk Live, uses the Free Talk Live trademark, perhaps because it's radio, that's not the best example. Let's say somebody creates a new brown bubbly beverage and calls that beverage Coca-Cola. But instead of tasting like cola, it tastes like orange slice and old shoes put together. Somebody drinks the red can that says Coca-Cola with the very noticeable swoop across it and says, my God, they've done something to the original classic Coke and this is now horrible, and they cease to drink Coke as a result. I can see that point where Coca-Cola would then use trademark law to go after the new purveyors of orange slice and dirty tennis shoes.
Well, you might can see the point that they would use this law, but the question is the law justified? And because the term intellectual property is used in a broad sense here, you're mixing several types of laws that fall under the term IP together.
Patent.
So you haven't even brought up patent, but of all the types of IP, patent is really the only one where it makes sense to use it defensively. Copyright, you really can't use copyright defensively because someone else cannot get a copyright on something you wrote, even if you don't have a copyright in it yourself. And for trademarks, if you fail to defend your trademark and fail to enforce it, it could become generic, and then everyone else could use it, but it wouldn't prevent you from using it. So you don't really have to enforce a trademark to use it. And as for the fraud aspect, fraud, you're kind of implying a fraud on the consumer, but that damages the consumer, and they already have a remedy under contract law and under fraud law, but the company that's harmed by having their reputation harmed would not, under libertarian, say, common law principles, have a remedy because you don't have a right to a reputation. And if you do, that's under defamation law, which we also oppose. You see, so you're kind of mixing together like, well, I would want to do it because it would harm me, but, you're harmed if someone competes with you or steals your girlfriend, too. And so causing harm is not sufficient to give a cause of action, right, under the law. It doesn't mean it's aggression. You can cause harm without it being aggression. If I take away some of your business by competing with you, it's harming you, but it doesn't violate your property rights. So, and you gave the example earlier of a defensive use versus an aggressive use, and I guess the question is, which one do you think you did? By using the DMCA to basically threaten YouTube with liability for contributory copyright infringement if they don't take this thing down, because you could sue the copyright violator for that. Do you think that your use was a defensive use or was it an aggressive use?
So when I think about what occurred as far as 3 months ago when I used the DMCA takedown, I didn't consider what would happen afterwards. I wasn't really thinking about what was going to occur because I knew what was going to happen was that YouTube was going to take the video down, and they did. So my prediction turned out to be so. I suppose that it is a threat in the sense that I could have employed the power of the state. I would have had to, probably gotten a lawyer like you, or not like you, but an IP lawyer to go and chase after somebody. And I wouldn't have done it because it's too much work and not worth the trouble. But from that standpoint, basically, I knew what the results were going to be, so I did it, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to chastise you. I'm just trying to see if you understand. Look, let me give a brief explanation of how this works and how it arose.
To hear the rest of this great interview, go to archives.freetalklive.com and get the MP3. Look for today's date there and download or just listen on the web. archives.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Tuesday, July 31st, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.49 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,220 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $27, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,877. Antiwar.com reports addressing media questions on Monday. President Donald Trump announced that he is willing to meet with Iranian President Hassan Rouhani if the Iranians are willing to do so. He said they could meet anytime with no preconditions. The comments come after a week of conflicting statements on Iran, many from Trump himself. This time last week, Trump was threatening Iran with consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered, but then said he was willing to make a deal just days later. This was followed by reports as recently as Sunday that the U.S. is preparing to attack Iran. Trump said he views this meeting as generally positive, saying one with Rouhani would be good for the country, good for them, good for us, and good for the world. Iran has not, as of Monday,